I welcome you to this important video where I will cover the agriculture current affairs from January to July, complete 7 months agriculture current affairs, and I've also included the best agriculture current affairs from December 2021 as well. So in a way you will get 8 months coverage in this one video, which will be approximately 2.5 hours. Current affairs will be covered in extensive detail. There will be a lot of detailing involved which will involve you completely. It will immerse you not only current but wherever required the static component will also be told. So it is more like a crash course for you in agriculture. So I'll start this video now. The first question is, the government of India has approved rupees 2516 crore for computerization of the functional 63,000 primary agriculture credit societies. How much amount will be given to each primary agriculture credit society to upgrade its capacity? So approximately 4 lakh rupees will be given to every PACS to increase their capacity. What kind of capacity? So every primary agriculture credit society will be computerized. It will also have the provision for cyber security, for data storage, cloud storage, hardware support, and for that it needs money, and 4 lakh rupees will be given to each of them. Now be careful. If there is any PACS which is already computerized, then it will get 50,000 rupees for hardware and software support. If it is already computerized, 50,000, otherwise 4 lakh. Now why is primary agriculture credit society so important? So if you look at the cooperative credit institutions of India and if you look at their structure, it is a 3-tier structure. At the first tier we have the rural cooperative credit institution and urban cooperative bank. Then we have this short-term and long-term structure. So basically in this 3-tier structure, the PACS occupy a very important position because farmers, they take loan directly from PACS. In fact, 40% of the KCC loans in India is given by PACS. And can you tell me how much amount maximum loan that a farmer can take through the Kisan credit card? It is 3 lakh rupees. And also remember, out of the 3 lakh, maximum 1.6 lakh is the guarantee free or collateral free loan. So through the KCC Kisan credit card, a farmer can take up to 3 lakh rupees of loan, and 1.6 lakh out of that maximum is the collateral free loan. Now 95% of all the KCC loans, they are taken through the PACS, and that is why it is very important. It is absolutely customary that their capacity has to be increased. And when was the first PACS set up in India? It was set up in 1904. So PACS, we can say that it is a basic unit and smallest cooperative credit institution in India. And it works at the grassroots level, that is at the Gram Panchayat and the village level. And 41%, exactly precise number is 41% of the KCC loan given by all the entities in the country, and 95% of all the KCC loan given to the small and marginal farmer is given by Primary Agriculture Credit Society. I repeat, 41% of the entire KCC loan and 95% of the loan that is given to small and marginal farmer is given by PACS. Let's move on now. The International Day of the Cooperatives was celebrated on which day? So International Day of the Cooperatives, remember, it was the 100th International Day of the Cooperatives. So in India also we have lot of cooperatives. We have Amul, we have IFCO, we have NAFED. I mean, these are doing some great work in India. These are some of the great success stories of India. The companies like Amul, Nandini in Karnataka, we have IFCO. All of these are well-known cooperatives in India. In fact, in India we have 8.5 lakh cooperatives, and they cater to 90% of the villages of India. So this shows how much important the cooperatives are in the Indian story. And by the way, government has created a separate ministry also, which is called Ministry of Cooperatives, and this ministry is headed by Amit Shah. This is a brand new ministry that was created. So it was celebrated when? On 4th of July in Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi. And let me also tell you what was the theme for the 100th International Cooperatives Day. It was Cooperatives Build a Better World. Cooperatives Build a Better World. This was the theme of the International Cooperatives Day. Is it understood? Okay. And when did the cooperative movement start in India? Just to give you some static background. So in our constitution, the 97th Amendment Act of 2011 added a new part in the Constitution, that is Part 9B, right after Part 9A. Part 9A, you know, is about municipal, right? But the urban local body, whereas the Part 9B is regarding the cooperatives. It was added Part 9B by the 97th Amendment of 2011. And the word cooperatives was added after the unions and associations in article. So the word cooperatives you will find in which article of the Constitution? Article 19(1)(c). That is part 3 of the Constitution, Article 19(1)(c). And let me also tell you that in the Directive Principles of State Policy, we have a article 43B. So a new article, Article 43B, was added in the Directive Principles of State Policy regarding the promotion of the cooperative societies. The promotion of cooperative societies, Article 43B of the DPSP says so. Is it clear or not clear? Okay. Recently, which of the following project has been launched pan-India to tackle pink bollworm in cotton? Now, bollworm was a huge problem for cotton. Then we made BT cotton. What is BT cotton? It is a transgenic crop. We put in the gene of a bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis in the cotton. So Bacillus thuringiensis, in short BT, it became BT cotton, and BT cotton was resistant to bollworm. And now more than 90% of the cotton that is grown in India is BT cotton. Almost a monopoly, right? But there is another problem now. The new BT cotton varieties, they are attacked by pink bollworm. So pink bollworm has become resistant to the BT variety, and it is attacking the BT cotton now. So there is a project now which has been started in India, and this project is called Project Bandhan. It is called Project Bandhan. Now, who is running Project Bandhan? Project Bandhan is being run by Central Institute of Cotton Research. Central Institute of Cotton Research. By the way, where is this institute? It is in Nagpur. The headquarters of this institute is in Nagpur in Maharashtra. So how are they helping? What is the project about? So basically in Punjab, in Haryana, in some parts also, pink bollworm attack is very severe, very serious right now. Lot of crop, millions of hectares of crop is getting destroyed every day. So they have started a project, Central Institute of Cotton Research, Nagpur. And I will tell you what they are doing. So they have made something called PB knot. PB knot is a rope. Okay. This rope, you tie it to the cotton plant. It is a special kind of a rope. You tie this rope to the cotton plant and it will release a chemical. This chemical is called gossyplure. Gossyplure. And gossyplure chemical is like a scent. It is like a perfume. What this chemical will do, it will confuse the male bollworm insect and prevent it from mating with the female bollworm. As a result, the bollworm population will be decreasing. It will be kept in check. This is Project Bandhan, a very innovative project. They are tying a rope called PB knot to the plant, and then they will release a chemical called gossyplure, and gossyplure will confuse the male adults so that they don't mate with the female bollworm, and the bollworm population therefore will reduce, thereby protecting the cotton, right? And Project Bandhan will be implemented in 62.5 acre of land in 19 clusters covering total 1200 acres in the country. All of this information you don't need to remember, these factual information. Just remember what is Project Bandhan because it is extremely important. And by the way, which Indian state is the leading producer of cotton in India? It is Gujarat. Gujarat by far is the leading producer of cotton. But there are other states also which have a lot of cotton. For example, Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra. These are cotton belts basically because they have a lot of black soil also, which is called Ragur, which is the main soil for growing cotton. And by the way, Indian government, they have their own brand of cotton also called Kasturi. So Kasturi is the official Government of India brand which was launched by the Ministry of Textiles on the World Cotton Day. And very recently, the government has also started an organization called Cotton Council of India, and Suresh Bhai Kotak has been made the chairman of Cotton Council of India. Now, the job of the Cotton Council of India is to promote the production and export of cotton, right? And Central Institute of Cotton Research, which is in Nagpur, was set up in 1976. It works under the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. So I hope that is clear. And by the way, India is the largest producer of cotton. Cotton sometimes is also called as white gold, and 23% of the world's cotton is growing in India. It is grown abundantly in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and even in Punjab and Rajasthan and Haryana also. Okay, let's move on finally. Recently, who among the following inaugurated the ONDC NABARD Grand Hackathon? Now, ONDC, you know what is ONDC, right? It is Open Network for Digital Commerce. Basically, if you have an account on Amazon, you cannot buy from Flipkart. Similarly, vice versa. And this is Amazon, Flipkart, and Meesho, and these big e-commerce companies are not allowing the small retailers to sell online. I mean, they can sell online, but ultimately there are very big dealers. So it is not a democratized process. What ONDC will do, it is a UPI-like arrangement where this entire process will be democratized. So ONDC is the democratized e-commerce of the government of India. You will be able to post your product on ONDC and it will be searchable through every e-commerce platform of India. Understood? Number one. Number two, government is also encouraging these local retailers to sell online through ONDC. And you don't have to pay any cut to Amazon and Flipkart. So Amazon and Flipkart and Meesho and these, they take a percentage of the sales, whereas on ONDC, it's the entire money is yours. So like that, we are democratizing the e-commerce. Now NABARD organized a grand hackathon. What is hackathon? Hackathon is a competition where you give certain problems or challenges and you invite solutions. So NABARD is backing ONDC, and the hackathon was organized recently. It was inaugurated by Piyush Goyal. He is the Minister for Commerce. And by the way, NABARD recently celebrated its 41st anniversary. NABARD was set up in 1982. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. So ONDC is an initiative of DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce. What is DPIIT? Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Is that clear? And who is the chairman of NABARD right now? It is G.R. Chintala. Govinda Rujulu Chintala is the chairman of NABARD at the moment. Let's move on. The Department of Food and Public Distribution, they will organize the National Conference on Food and Nutrition Security in which city? So it will be organized, it was organized on 5th of July and it was organized in the capital, New Delhi. Department of Food and Public Distribution, they organize one-day national conference on food and national security. Now, what is the status of food security in India? What is the status of food security? So food security is a very important issue in India. We have a National Food Security Act. National Food Security Act came in 2013. It was notified on 10th of September 2013. And it covers almost 67% or 2/3 the population of India. It covers 50% of our urban population and it covers almost 75% of our rural population. How does National Food Security Act work? So we have a concept of one nation, one ration card, and all the 36 states and union territories of India, they are now implementing one nation, one ration card. In fact, Assam recently became the 36th and the last state or union territory to enable one nation, one ration card. Now, if you have a ration card in India, then you will get the benefit of National Food Security Act. How? So in National Food Security Act, there are two kinds of categories, right? One is called the PHH category or priority household, and the second one is called Antyodaya Ann Yojana category. So if you are a AAY category, that means you are at the poorest of the poor. And Antyodaya means the person who is standing in the last in the line. So Antyodaya Ann Yojana household will get 35 kg of food grains per month. 35 kg per family per month at a very subsidized price. What is the subsidized price? It is 3 to 1. So 3 rupees per kg is the rice, 2 rupees per kg is the wheat, and 1 rupee per kg is the coarse grains. 35 kg per month is given per family per month to AAY category. What about the PHH category? So PHH category is the priority household, in short PHH, and PHH category gets 5 kg per person per month. Now here it is per family per month 35 kg. Here it is per person per month 5 kg. Again 5 kg the person gets at again 3 to 1. 3 kgs per kg rice, 2 kg 2 rupees per kg is wheat, and 1 rupee per kg is the coarse grains. So that is how we control our problem of food. And we also are running, of course, the Pradhan Mantri Ann Yojana, where in the Ann Yojana we are giving 5 kg of grains, that is wheat or rice depending on the dietary preference, free of cost. The full name is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. Right? This was because of the COVID that we are giving extra 5 kg, and this is completely free of cost. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, and we are distributing the food through the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution in India. And we also have a portal called Ann Vitran portal. Ann Vitran means distribution of food. Ann Vitran portal is the portal that has all the data of the distribution of food grains within a state. I hope that is clear. Let's move on. How much financial support is given to each member of the self-help group under the Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprise Scheme? Now this is a very important scheme from exam point of view. It has recently completed 2 glorious years. So what are we trying to do in this? First of all, let me tell you the answer. It is 40,000 rupees support that is given to every member of the self-help group which is engaged in the food processing activity. Now let me explain to you what all of this is. Food processing, you know what is food processing. For example, if you have a potato and you convert it into chips, then for chips you will get more money than what you will get for potato. This is called food processing. Similarly, if you sell sugarcane, you will get less money. But if you take out the juice of sugarcane and you package it in a container, you brand it, then you will get more money because this is a processed food. So it is always better to sell processed food, because by selling the processed food, the farmers can get more income. So what we are trying to do in this scheme, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, they launched this scheme called PMFME, or Prime Minister Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises. All these small micro food processing industries, we are trying to support them, and we are trying to support them. What is our target? So this scheme is expected to generate a total investment of 35,000 crore, and 9 lakh is the employment generation that is projected because of this scheme. 35,000 crore of total investment it will generate. And we are trying to create brands out of the locally famous products. So in a way, we are following the concept of one district, one product. If there is any product which is very famous in a particular district, we process it, we package it, and we sell it for a premium. We are trying to create as many brands as we can. So this scheme, PMFME, provides a seed funding or an initial funding or seed capital of 40,000 to every self-help group per member. So if there are 10 members, they can get 4 lakh. 40,000 is given for every member of a self-help group. Number one. Number two, if you want to upgrade your micro food processing unit, then you will get a capital subsidy of 35% to a maximum ceiling of 10 lakh per unit. 35% or 10 lakh, whichever is lower. Understood? 35% of the eligible project cost with a maximum of 10 lakh per unit. 35% is the capital subsidy if you want to upgrade your micro food processing unit. Similarly, if you want to develop a common infrastructure for any cluster, whether you want to have a food processing lab, cold storage, warehousing, again you will get 35% credit linked grant from the government. So these are small steps which go a long way in promoting the unorganized food processing sector in India. Let me tell you, the food processing sector in India, contributes hugely to the employment. The unorganized sector, food processing sector, is organized and unorganized. Unorganized is 74% employment and organized only 26% employment. So this shows that we need to organize this unorganized food processing sector. And 66% of these micro food processing enterprises are located in the rural areas, and 80% of them are family-based businesses. Okay, let's move on now, and I will tell you later in the video some brands also that we have created because of this PMFME scheme. The first edition of the State Ranking Index for National Food Security Act was released. Which state secured the first position among the general states category? So I told you about the National Food Security Act. Now we have created an index. When you create an index, you create a comparative analysis. So which is that state in India which has the best performance in National Food Security Act implementation? So the best state in this regard is Odisha. Odisha performed the best in this category. And then there was one more category, which is the small states. You know, the small state, the Himalayan states. In that, Tripura performed the best. So you can see here Odisha was the best performer, followed by UP and then Andhra. And in the special state, small state or Himalayan states and Union Territory, it was Tripura. Recently, the first India Animal Health Summit was held in which city? It's a beautiful question, and I'll tell you why. So in India, we now have a concept called One Health. Have you heard about this concept called One Health? So now, you know, there are three types of health. One is the human health, one is the animal health, and one is the environmental health. AHE, animal, human, environment. If you take these three types of health, then it is the real health. Because if there is a human health but the surrounding animals are ill, then obviously the human beings cannot have a good health. The disease will be transferred from animal to humans, like we are seeing in monkeypox these days, which has been declared as a global health emergency now by the WHO. More than 17,000 cases in 75 countries. Similarly, your environment can't be poor. You know, for example, if you are living in a place which has a lot of pollution, then how can you remain healthy? So the old concept where the human health was seen in isolation is no more valid. It does not hold good now. So we have a concept of One Health. One Health means human health, animal health, and environmental health. And this One Health concept has been launched in 2 states of India. The first state was Uttarakhand, where it was launched. And the second state, very recently, it has been launched in Karnataka or in Bengaluru. So Uttarakhand and Karnataka are the 2 states of India where One Health concept or One Health project was launched. It was launched first in Uttarakhand and now in Karnataka. And therefore we are focusing now on animal health because it is a part 1/3 of the One Health project. So this summit took place recently in New Delhi, and Purushottam Rupala is the Minister for Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy. He inaugurated the first India Animal Health Summit. By the way, we also have a COVID vaccine for the animals called Anocovax. And Anocovax has been made by whom? It is made by an institute that is based in Hisar in Haryana state, which is called National Research Center on Equines. Equines is nothing but horses. In Hindi we call it Rashtriya Ashwa Anusandhan Sansthan, or National Research Center on Equines, Hisar, Haryana has launched Anocovax, which is the first COVID vaccine for the animals. I hope this is clear. Let's move on now. Recently, which of the following has become the first state in India to connect one district mart with the open network for digital commerce? Now, how beautiful will it be that you start selling ODOP products on ONDC? ONDC, we already know, is an e-commerce platform owned by the government of India. And ODOP is what? One district, one product. So all the famous products, you put a branding based on the district name and then you start selling them on ONDC. So the first state to actually connect both of these is UP. In fact, Uttar Pradesh pioneered the concept of one district, one product. Is it understood? The answer is Uttar Pradesh. According to the State of the Food Security and Nutrition in the World report, stunting in children under 5 years of age in India was what percent in 2020? So this is a new report that was released, you can see, by a lot of organizations like Food and Agriculture Organization, UNICEF, IFAD, that is International Fund for Agriculture Development, by World Health Organization. So a lot of organizations have come together, even UNICEF. So a lot of organizations have come together to release this report. So what does this report say? So according to this report, you know, the stunting problem in India was 30.9%. 30.9% was the stunting in India. And I will tell you more data related to India. So the number of undernourished people in India, and they took a range from 2019 to 2021, which a great part of this was a COVID time also. The number of undernourished people in India, they were 224.3 million or 22.43 crore, right? And in terms of percentage, the undernourishment in India is 16.3%. So this is 16.3% of India's population which suffer from undernourishment. And let me tell you how many Indians can't afford a healthy diet. So the number of people who can't afford a healthy diet in 2020, who could not afford a healthy diet, was 973.3 million or 97 crore. That is 70.5% of India's population could not afford a healthy diet because they lack money or resources. And the stunting was 30.9%. What about the problem of obesity? So the prevalence of overweight children which are under 5 years of age was 1.9% in 2020, and in the adult population the obesity is 3.9%. What about the number of the anemic women in India? Anemic women were approximately 53%. 53%, they are between the age of 15 to 49 years. 15 to 49 years. And how many people in the entire world they were affected by hunger in 2021? So 828 million people were affected by hunger in 2021. So like that, a lot of data was given by this report. National Fish Farmers Day is celebrated on which day? It was recently celebrated also in July, 10th of July 2022. So it was celebrated as at National Fisheries Development Board in Hyderabad. So what is this day? Why do we even celebrate this day? It was the 65th National Fish Farmers Day, and something great happened on 10th of July 1957 at a place called Angul, which is in Odisha. So what happened? So there were two Indian scientists. One is Dr. Hiralal Chaudhary. Dr. Hiralal Chaudhary and his friend or colleague Dr. Ali Kunhi. They both achieved induced breeding in the fishes, and because of induced breeding, the number of fish and fish production in India has increased significantly. So that is why this day, 10th of July, became significant. This experiment happened on 10th of July 1957, and that is why we celebrate National Fish Farmers Day on 10th of July, and this was the 65th anniversary. By the way, this is Blue Revolution, and this is Sustainable Development Goal number 14. There are total 17 Sustainable Development Goal. The 14th one says life below water. And we also have Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana for increasing the fish production in India. This is a scheme that was started in 2016. And now the $1,000,000 question. What is the objective of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? What is the target? So the target is we want to have 22 million metric ton of fish production in India, or just simply remember 22 MMT. This much of fish production we want in India, 22 MMT by 2025. And right now our fish production is approximately 13.58 MMT. So we want to increase it to 22 MMT by 31st of March 2025. This is the aim of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. The Natural Farming Conclave was organized in which city in India? Natural Farming Conclave was organized recently in Surat, which is in Gujarat, right? And let's say this is Ganga River. So on both the banks, 5-kilometer natural farming corridor is being developed along both the banks of River Ganga. And in Surat, 75 farmers from every village, they will be taught natural farming, right? So what is natural farming? Number one, natural farming is basically chemical free. So we are not using any pesticides, insecticides or fertilizers. We are not using it. And it is mainly livestock based. As natural as it gets. We use local animals and we don't use any chemicals. That's it. That is natural farming. Now, this farming, natural farming, was started by which person? The concept of natural farming was introduced by a farmer from Japan called Masanobu Fukuoka. His name was Masanobu Fukuoka. He was a Japanese farmer and philosopher, and he wrote a book in 1975 called One Straw Revolution. And it is in this book that he started the concept of natural farming. By the way, in India, we also have something called zero budget natural farming. Now, this is a completely different concept. Here we use, four pillars. One is called Jeev Amrut, one is called Bij Amrut. We use Achhadan or mulching, and we use Vapas, which is a condition where both air molecules and water molecules are present in the soil. This helps in reducing the irrigation requirement or the water requirement. This is called Vapas. And Achhadan is mulching. It protects the topsoil during cultivation and does not destroy it by tilling. And then we have Bij Amrit. Bij Amrit is a mixture of neem leaves and pulp, tobacco and green chilies that are prepared for insects and pest management. Bij Amrit. And then we have Jeev Amrit. Jeev Amrit is a mixture of fresh cow dung and cow urine. It is also a mixture of, so we mix cow dung, cow urine, jaggery and pulse flour, water and soil that we have to apply on a farmland. So Jeev Amrit, Bij Amrit, Achhadan and Vapas, these four are the pillars of zero budget natural farming. Now zero budget natural farming was started by which person? So there was a famous scientist, agriculture scientist called Subhash Palekar. He is credited with zero budget natural farming. The Coffee Board of India has signed a MOU with which of the following regarding the breeding of climate resilient varieties and assessing the carbon sequestration potential of coffee. So coffee plants, they can absorb a lot of carbon, and see, we want to become a net zero country, net zero carbon emitter, carbon neutral country by 2070. So climate resilient variety of coffee, their assessment will be done by ISRO. ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. MOU has been signed by the Coffee Board, and Coffee Board of India is located in Bengaluru. We also have a Tea Board. Tea Board is located in Kolkata, and Jute Board is also located in Kolkata. We have different boards in India. Now there is an institute called Central Coffee Research Institute, which is located in Chikmagaluru in Karnataka. Chikmagaluru and Kodagu, these are the main places in Karnataka where the coffee cultivation is done. We also have Wayanad Robusta coffee. We have the Araku Valley coffee in Andhra, Visakhapatnam. So there are different areas which are rich in coffee. Now, coffee emits carbon dioxide, so it is a net carbon deficit crop, right? But coffee plants also have this capacity of absorbing carbon or carbon sequestration. So ISRO will evaluate all of this, and studies will be done for this. Recently, by the way, in India, Karnataka is the leading coffee producer. Recently, Union Minister Mansukh Mandaviya said that India will become self-sufficient in urea production by 2025. So related to this, nano urea liquid is developed by which of the following? So very important question. Liquid nano urea is being developed by Indian Farmer Fertilizer Cooperative. And see, we have to import urea. So let me tell you some figures. We need how much urea in our country every year? Our requirement of urea is 350 lakh ton. Out of that, 260 lakh ton we produce in India, but 90 lakh ton we have to import from other countries. So total we need 350 lakh ton. We fall short by 90 lakh ton, right? So the minister said that by 2025 we will increase our production. We will increase our production of urea. So instead of 260 lakh which we are producing now, we will be producing something around 320 lakh ton by 2025, and we will also produce 44 crore bottles of liquid nano urea. And these 44 crore bottles, one bottle is 500 ml that is sold in the market. 44 crore bottles are equal to 200 lakh ton of conventional urea bags, right? So one bottle of liquid nano urea is equal to one bag of urea, and it is much more cheaper and much more efficient also. Understood? It requires less storage space also. So liquid nano urea is the way forward. Right now our capacity is 5 crore bottles per year, but we will increase it to 44 crore bottles by 2025. And at which place IFCO has set up its first liquid nano urea plant in India. It has been set up at Kalol in Gujarat. Kalol is in Gujarat, and that is where the first commercial liquid nano urea plant of IFCO has been set up in India. Very, very important. And recently, the first liquid nano urea plant in South India was inaugurated in Bengaluru. And we also need to be concerned about the urea subsidy, which is approximately 70,000 crore per year. This is just for urea alone, right? So liquid nano urea will help us. It will reduce our fertilizer subsidy bill also. Currently, our fertilizer subsidy bill, if you take all the fertilizer, not just urea, it is more than 2.5 lakh crore according to the budget. So we want to produce as much liquid nano urea as possible. The answer was IFCO. Let's move on now. What is the tagline of the logo which has been recently introduced by the central government for certification of authenticity for jute products in India? So this is the mark. If you want to know whether the jute product that you are buying is authentic, always see this jute mark. The answer is Jute Mark India. And in India, West Bengal is the leading producer of jute. We also call it golden fiber. So there was a golden fiber revolution for jute. And National Jute Board was set up in 2008. It works under the Ministry of Textiles. Jute grows in the well-drained alluvial soil. India is the largest producer of jute in the world, followed by Bangladesh and then China. So in India, jute is grown mainly in West Bengal, but it is also grown in Bihar, Odisha, Assam, Andhra Pradesh, etc. And jute is used for making gunny bags, mats, ropes, carpets, and all of these handicrafts also. Recently, Jammu Kashmir has signed an agreement with which of the following states to boost the cultivation of saffron and other temperate crops. So Jammu Kashmir has signed an agreement with Sikkim. Jammu Kashmir will try to help Sikkim in producing saffron. Right now, almost 90% of the saffron that is produced in India is grown in Jammu Kashmir. We need to diversify because there are a lot of states in India which have climate similar to Jammu Kashmir. So if saffron can be grown in Jammu Kashmir, why not there? So especially northeastern states, the climate is very similar to Jammu Kashmir. In Jammu Kashmir, saffron is grown in places called Kareva. Karevas are the places where saffron is grown in Jammu and Kashmir. What are Kareva? Karevas are the highlands which are located in Jammu and Kashmir. And saffron, seeds are cultivated during the month of June and July, and at some places in August and September also. It starts flowering in October. And Kashmiri saffron, the Kong Posh variety of saffron, also got the GI tag last year. The Kong Posh is the name of a place. So Kong Posh saffron of Jammu Kashmir got the GI tag. So Jammu Kashmir is trying to partner with Sikkim for cultivating saffron. Now let me tell you a very interesting project which is called Saffron Bowl Project. Have you heard about it? Saffron Bowl Project. So there is an institute called Nectar, NECTAR. Nectar is an institute which is based in Shillong, and Saffron Bowl Project is Jammu Kashmir is trying to help Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya in growing saffron. This is known as Saffron Bowl Project. So Saffron Bowl Project can also be asked in the exam. Which is the implementing institute? Nectar. What is Nectar? Northeast Center for Technological Application and Reach. That is called Nectar. Nectar is trying to have saffron cultivation in Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya. So Saffron Bowl Project is being implemented in Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya. And Nectar is an institute that works under the Ministry of Science and Technology, right? So not just Sikkim, but even in Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya, Jammu Kashmir is trying to grow saffron. And this project is called Saffron Bowl Project, which is running in Arunachal and Meghalaya. Let's move on then. By the way, I will add one point here. There is a saffron from Pampore. There is a place in Jammu Kashmir called Pampore. So the Pampore saffron is recognized as a globally important agricultural heritage system, GIHS, Pampore saffron. Recently, in which of the following state foundation stone was laid for South India's first nano urea liquid plant? South India's first liquid nano urea factory has been set up by IFCO in Bengaluru in Karnataka. In Bengaluru in Karnataka, this factory was inaugurated by Mansukh Mandaviya, the Minister for Chemical Fertilizer, and Basavaraj Bommai, the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Investment is approximately 350 crore and this plant can produce 34 crore bottles per year. Again, one bottle is for 500 ml. Is it understood? And the first overall plant was set up in Kalol in Gujarat. This was India's first, but South India's first in Bengaluru. The National Conference of State Agriculture and Horticulture Ministers was held in which city? It was held recently in Bengaluru. National Conference of State Agriculture and Horticulture Minister. You can see Narendra Singh Tomar. He attended. He inaugurated. His constituency is Morena. And what is the main news from this conference? So recently there is a platform that was launched called eNAM POP. What is POP? POP, it is called Platform of Platforms. Why it is called like that? So you know what is eNAM, right? eNAM was formed in 2016. It's a platform for buying and selling electronic national agriculture market. It is connected to all these mandis, APMCs, right? Now there are different platforms. So eNAM is only about buying and selling, but a farmer is not only concerned with buying and selling, he requires other things also. For example, he requires logistic support, he requires technology, he requires analytics. Farmer also requires transportation. So lot of food processing, for example, packaging. So farmer requires a lot more services. And for these services, there are basically different services, right, that a farmer requires. Earlier, there were different platforms for all of these. Now there is only one platform called eNAM POP. So 41 service providers which used to provide different services. 41 service providers from multiple platforms which provided a whole range of value chain services like trade, quality assurance, cold storage, market intelligence, transportation, logistics. They will now be on one platform. So a farmer does not need to visit multiple platforms. 41 service providers from multiple platforms are now on one platform called eNAM POP or Platform of Platforms. That is why it is called Platform of Platform, and it was inaugurated during this conference. Which conference? National Conference of State Agriculture and Horticulture Ministers that took place in Bengaluru. Who among the following has assumed the charge? Who has become the chairman of Khadi and Village Industries Commission, KVIC, and KVIC works under the Ministry of MSME, headed by Narayan Rane. So Manoj Kumar has become the chairman of KVIC. Earlier the chairman was Vinay Kumar Saxena, but he has now become the Lieutenant Governor of New Delhi. Is it understood? So Manoj Kumar is the chairman of KVIC, and KVIC was set up. It's a statutory body. It was formed in 1957 during the second 5-year plan. And the job of KVIC is just to promote Khadi in India. Now, Khadi was launched in 1920 by Mahatma Gandhi as a political weapon for the Swadeshi movement. And Khadi has now become very popular, right? And let me also tell you some of the initiatives of KVIC recently that maybe it could be asked in the exam. It is important. Now, KVIC, the first project is the BOLD project. BOLD project was started from Udaipur. This is essentially a project in Rajasthan. And what is BOLD project? So in BOLD project, what KVIC is trying to do is it is trying to grow bamboos on very, very arid land, very dry land. So the full form of BOLD project is Bamboo Oasis on Lands in Drought. This is the full form. And this project started from Udaipur in Rajasthan. Essentially, this is a project of Rajasthan only. Second project of KVIC that you should know about is they have set up India's first Tassar silk. Tassar is a very, very high quality silk. So India's first Tassar silk yarn production center has been started by KVIC in Cuttack in Odisha. And there is another project, India's first mobile honey processing van. Mobile honey processing van was launched by KVIC in Ghaziabad. So these are some projects of KVIC that maybe you should know about. Yarn Production Center. There is also the Bold project, and Bold project was started from Udaipur in Rajasthan. Is it understood? Okay, let's move on. Recently, there is a company called Syngenta. Syngenta has partnered with which of the following institute to launch the Biodiversity Sensor project? What is Biodiversity Sensor project? In Biodiversity Sensor project, they will observe the behavior of insects which are on our agriculture farms, especially bees and butterflies. They will observe the behavior of, there is a technology, biosensor technology is a technology for monitoring biodiversity, that is, study the behavior of insects around our farms, especially bees and butterflies. And it has been done in partnership with IIT Ropar. Now let me tell you one, IIT Ropar is in Punjab. In Ropar is a wetland also, no? Ramsar site. Now Syngenta company is also the first private company to get approval from Central Insecticide Board. They have launched an insecticide called Amistar, which is suitable for paddy crops. It protects the rice or paddy from fungal infections, blast disease and sheath blight. And the name of the insecticide is Amistar. And this Amistar they are spraying using drones. The first drone yatra of India was launched by Syngenta company. They want to travel 10,000 kilometers to educate 10,000 farmers about spraying of drones, spraying of insecticide using drones, because when farmers spray insecticide themselves, it is very dangerous for their health. What is the name of the shifting cultivation that is practiced in Telangana and Andhra that was in news recently? So it is called Podu shifting cultivation. Basically, shifting cultivation, also called jhoom cultivation, sometimes ghum cultivation, it's detrimental for the forest. So it is practiced by the tribal community. What they do is they go on a go to a forest land, and there are a lot of trees here. So they burn the trees down to clear the land for the agriculture. Then they do intensive farming here for 2 to 3 years, and when the soil becomes deficient in the minerals, then they go to some other place and repeat it. As a result of shifting cultivation, the forest cover reduces because they are burning the trees to make the land available for the cultivation or agriculture. So similar practice that is practiced in Andhra and Telangana is Podu. And what the government of Andhra and Telangana trying to do, so especially Telangana, they are trying to shift these people from the core areas of the National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary to the buffer areas. A lot of tribal people, they live in the core areas also. There, if they start doing shifting cultivation, the biodiversity will be harmed because they will be burning down the forest. So that is why Podu was in news recently. Recently, Niti Aayog has jointly launched the Mapping and Exchange of Good Practices initiative for mainstreaming the millets in Asia and Africa with which of the following? So 2023, by the way, will be celebrated as the International Year of Millets by United Nations, and in India 2018 was celebrated as the National Year of Millets. Right? Millets are of many types. There is bajra, which is called pearl millet. There is ragi or finger millet. There is sorghum or jowar. So there are different types of millets available in India. Millets is a collective term for small seeded annual grasses that are cultivated as grain crops, mainly in the dry areas. So Niti Aayog has partnered with the World Food Program for mainstreaming the millets in Asia and Africa, because our diet is mainly wheat and rice based. But we need more millets because they are more nutritious, and secondly, millets can be grown even in the scarcity of water. They are highly climate resistant. Recently, which of the following has become the first private company to be awarded a government contract for the opium processing sector? So this is Bajaj Healthcare. In India, you can't use opium for recreational purpose or entertainment. You can use it for medicine. And there are a lot of medicines like painkillers are there, cough syrups. There are a lot of medicines in which the opium active pharmaceutical ingredients are used, like painkillers, cough syrup, and even some cancer drugs. They use a lot of opium because it alleviates pain. Now, what is this entire process? Let me explain. So first, the opium is grown by the farmers. Then the government sends this opium to their plants. And these plants of government are located at two places. One is Ghazipur and one is Nimach. Now Ghazipur is in UP, Nimach is in MP, Madhya Pradesh, and Ghazipur is in UP. What are these plants called? These are called government opium and alkaloid works. So they extract alkaloids from them, and then these alkaloids are used for pharmaceutical products. Recently, which of the following state government and United Nations Development Program they have announced Data in Climate Resilient Agriculture or DICRA partnership? So the DICRA partnership is between Telangana government and UNDP, which is headquartered in New York. The answer is Telangana. What is this partnership? DICRA partnership is the farmers of India, they will be given lot of data, lot of analytics so that they can make informed decisions. They can protect their crops from climate change. They can protect their livestock from climate change. So DICRA provides open access to both the data as well as analytics to the farmers through an open software, and it will help the farmers adopt technology. This platform DICRA is powered by artificial intelligence, right? So, and DICRA will collect this data using remote sensing and pattern detection algorithms. It will identify those farms which are resilient to climate change and those which are highly vulnerable, and it will tell the farmers accordingly what they should grow, what they should not grow. So it will help towards strengthening food system and food security in India. Who is the head of the recently constituted committee by the Union government on minimum support price to make it more effective and transparent? This committee will be headed by Sanjay Agarwal. Minimum support price. Minimum support price. What is the Swaminathan formula for minimum support price? MS Swaminathan is known as the father of green revolution in India, and father of green revolution in India, MS Swaminathan, says that farmers should be given 150% or 1.5 times of their input cost. Understood? So if a farmer has has spent 1 lakh rupees for growing something, he should be paid minimum 1.5 lakh. This is the minimum support price that should be given to the farmers. 150% or 1.5 times. But what is the problem? The problem is in the calculation. Now MSP in India is given for how many crops? It is given for 23 crops. I repeat, MSP in India is given for 23 crops, not 22. Some websites have written it wrong. It is 23 crops. Whenever you have a doubt, always see the official website. MSP is subject of Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, or CACP, which works under the Ministry of Agriculture. And if you go to the official website, it says 23 commodities. Which are these? So 7 are cereals like paddy, wheat, maize, sorghum, pearl millet, barley and ragi. 5 are pulses: gram, tur, moong, urad and lentil. 7 are oil seeds: groundnut, rapeseed, mustard, soybean, sesame, sunflower, safflower and Niger seed. And 4 are commercial crops: copra, sugarcane, cotton and raw jute. And if you add these, it becomes 23. 7 and 5, 12, and 7, 19, and 4, 23. So MSP in India is given for 23 crops. Now another important thing. MSP, you can calculate it. MSP is of 3 types. Okay. What is the 3 types of MSP that we have in India? So we have A2 plus FL and C2. And CACP considers A2 plus FL for giving 150% or 1.5 times. A2 plus FL is considered. So A2 is what? A2 is simply the input cost of the farmer, the direct cost, like the seeds. Farmer will spend money on what? The seeds, the pesticide, insecticide, and hired labor and irrigation and water and whatever. That is the direct cost. That is the A2. A2 plus FL. Now farmer's entire family, they also do labor. So that also has a cost. If farmer was not doing agriculture on his own land, he would be doing it somewhere else. So his minimum wage, that needs to be added. So A2 plus FL is A2 plus farmer's family labor. And then we have C2. So what is C2? C2 is A2 plus FL plus the land cost. So if the farmer was not doing agriculture on his land, he can rent the land or he can sell the land and there will be some interest he will get. So if the land is 1 crore, he can sell the land for 1 crore, he can put it in the bank account and he can get 5% on FD. So this 5% is foregone because he is doing agriculture. So that cost also needs to be added. So A2 plus FL plus land cost is called C2. Is it understood or not understood? And CACP reckons only A2 plus FL for returns. For actual money they give to the farmer is based on A2 plus FL. Okay, but C2 costs are used for mainly benchmark referencing by the CACP. So these are the three types of MSP that we have in India. Haryana government has collaborated with which of the following country to set up a center of excellence for breed improvement of animals in Hisar? So they have partnered with Brazil. What is this entire thing? Now, the king of Bhavnagar is a beautiful place in Gujarat, which is also being developed as a container hub. Now, the king of Bhavnagar, he donated the Gir breed of cows to Brazil in 1911. And this Gir variety they improved, and Brazil created their own variety called Girlando. So today Girlando is a very famous cow from Brazil. It gives 15 liters of milk every day, but very few people know that Girlando is actually an improved variety of Gir cow that was given to Brazil by the king of Bhavnagar in the year 1911. Similarly, Haryana has lot of important cows like the Sahiwal variety, like there is the Rathi variety of cow, there is Murra and all of these. Murra Jamplasm is also available. Basically, what they want to do, what Haryana wants to do is Haryana wants to do the same what Gujarat did. Haryana wants Brazil to help them in improving the varieties of mainly the Sahiwal and the Rathi cows. Right? So this is what will be done by Brazil. Recently, which of the following ministry has launched 14 honey farmer producer organization? By the way, how many FPOs we want in India? We want, our target is we should have 10,000 farmer producer organizations in India. And recently 14 honey FPOs have been launched, right, by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. By the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And they also want to make sure that even the farmers get minimum support price for honey production. Honey is an agriculture allied activity and it is called apiculture. Growing of honeybees for wax, for honey, it is called apiculture. So 14 honey FPOs were set up by TriFed. TriFed is what? TriFed is Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India, and it has been set up recently. And we want to have 10,000 FPOs. In fact, FPO program was launched in 2020. And beekeeping, what is the name that we give to it? Sweet Revolution. Sweet Revolution. We also have a National Bee Board, which is a part of the National Beekeeping and Honey Mission. Let's move on. Which of the following has been declared as an essential commodity by the central government? So there is a law that we have in India called Essential Commodities Act of 1955. So soya meal is an essential commodity. Soya meal, you know, if it is declared as essential commodity, it means what? It means that the unfair practices like hoarding of the soya meal, black marketing will be stopped. So this will enhance the availability of soya meal to the farmers, especially the dairy farmers, because soybean meal is an important protein source for the farm animals. And it represents nearly 2/3 of the total world output of protein feedstuff that is given to the animals. Who has been reappointed as the chairman of CACP, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, that gives MSP? Who has been appointed as the chairman once again? Reappointed as the chairman. What is his name? His name is Vijay Paul Sharma. Vijay Paul Sharma. Let's move on. Which of the following organization has launched India's first mobile honey processing van? Now I told you mobile honey processing van has been launched by KVIC and it was launched in Ghaziabad recently. The first mobile honey processing van was launched in Ghaziabad and it can process 300 kgs of honey in 8 hours. 300 kg of honey can be processed in 8 hours. It's a mobile testing laboratory. It is a mobile processing laboratory and also mobile testing laboratory because it can examine the quality of honey also. How many total ODOP, one district, one product brands will be developed under PMFME scheme? So how many brands? 10 brands. And let me show you the table. It has those 10 brands. So for example, the Amla from Gurugram will be sold as Amritfal. The Amla from Gurugram This is a brand that they have created, Amritfal brand. Similarly, the whole wheat cookies from Delhi are being sold under the name Delhi Bakes. Makhana, Darbhanga and Muzaffarpur, Makhana King is the brand. From Kota, we have coriander brand called Kori Gold. From Saharanpur, we have Madhu Mantra, the honey brand. Similarly, Somdana from Thane, Somdana. Then we have Kashmiri Mantra, which is the Kashmiri spices from Kulgam. We have Madhur Mithas from Muzaffarnagar, again it's a honey. We have Anaras, which is this pineapple pickle from Reep Hoi in Meghalaya, and we have Pindse from Amritsar. So all of these are brands that have been created, right? All of these are the brands which have been created. What are these brands? Kori Gold, I told you, is coriander powder. Makhana King is makhana. I don't know what is makhana called in English. Delhi Bakes is the whole wheat cookies. Amrit Phal is the amla juice exactly. Madhu Mantra is a honey, multi-floral honey. And Somdana is what? So Somdana is a millet flour. Kashmiri Mantra is the spices, the red chili powder from Kashmir, Kulgam. And these, so 10 ODOP brands have been created. Now you understand what is the advantage of this. Okay, let's move on. Who among the following will head the 10-member committee of the ISRO to explore the feasibility of the adoption of technology in the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana? See, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana has not done too well, to be honest. It is a centrally sponsored scheme, but it has not been able to achieve the objectives. Very few people have taken this scheme. So Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana asks the farmers to pay a premium of, obviously it is an insurance scheme, crop insurance scheme. If the crop get damaged, the government pays, but the premium is also there. So for the Rabi crops, the premium is 1.5%. For Kharif crops, it is 2%. And for the cash crops, it is 5%. This is the premium under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. And now ISRO has set up a committee, 10-member committee to explore how we can use technology in Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. It will be headed by K.R. Manjunath. K.R. Manjunath. And let me tell you that there is one more committee that has been set up by the government. It is called Saurabh Mishra Committee. So there are two committees actually. And what is the job of Saurabh Mishra Committee? Saurabh Mishra Committee will do the cost benefit analysis of the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, right? For example, agriculture insurance, co-insurance, they will try to analyze different models, profit loss sharing models in Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana to make it more attractive for the farmers. Which of the following states has set up India's first bamboo village? India's first bamboo village has been set up. It is called Katla Mara, and it has been set up in Tripura, in West Tripura district. By the way, bamboo is a grass. It is not a tree. It comes in the family Poaceae. It is also called as green gold. And this is the first bamboo village of India. In local language, they are calling it Bashgram. Bashgram. It has been set up on 9 acres of land, and 14 species of bamboo are a part of this project. Who among the following has been appointed as the new chairman of IFFCO? Indian Farmer Fertilizer Cooperative. Dilip Sanghani is the new chairman. He is the 17th chairman of IFFCO, and he will replace Mr. Balwinder Singh. Now, IFFCO headquarters is in New Delhi. IFFCO was founded on 3rd of November 1967. Which of the following village is the first milk village of Jammu Kashmir? So this village is called Jerry village, Jerry Hamlet. Hamlet is a small village. So Jerry Hamlet, it is in Riyasi district of Jammu Kashmir. It is the first milk village, milk surplus I mean. And Integrated Dairy Development Scheme worked here really well. What is Integrated Dairy Development Scheme? So in Integrated Dairy Development Scheme, there is a huge subsidy, that the government provides. For example, if you want to buy different things like milking machine, so milking machine or bulk milk cooling machine, then you get 50% subsidy from the government up to a maximum of 5 lakh. If you want to buy a paneer making machine, khoya making machine, dahi making machine, cream separator, all these machine, ghee making machine, maximum subsidy you will get 3.5 lakh. 50% to a maximum of 3.5 lakh. If you want to buy a milk van, you will get 50% subsidy to a maximum of 2 lakh. And if you want to open a milk ATM, then you will get a subsidy of up to 5 lakh. So like that, different subsidies are given. 50% subsidy is given to a maximum limit of different limits for different products that I've told you. Recently, under which of the following mission Agri-Nutri Garden Week was celebrated? Agri-Nutri Garden Week was celebrated from 10th to 17th of January 2022 under Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission. So the answer is Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission. And this is a scheme of the Ministry of Rural Development. Ministry of Rural Development, this scheme was launched in 2011. So what do they want to do? How many Nutri Gardens we want to set up? In fact, we wanted to set up 7,500 Nutri Gardens in this week because it is the 75th anniversary of India's independence. So 7,500 garden. And how many did we set up? 76,664. So we set up 10 times of our target. What is a Nutri Garden? Simply you grow crops in your garden that will enable your food security, and if your food security is there, obviously if every person in the village does that, it is the village security. Ultimately, it is the security of the nation. So we want to promote the concept of Nutri Gardens in India, and this will help in food security, right? So we want to establish 78 lakh agri-Nutri Gardens in India. Over 78 lakh is what the government is saying. Recently, Prime Minister Modi, he launched the 50th anniversary celebrations of the Ecrysat Institute. Now, Ecrysat stands for International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics. So, where is it located? It celebrated its golden jubilee recently. This institute was set up in 1972. It is located in Hyderabad. The answer is Hyderabad. And this is an important institute, and last year this institute also was awarded the very prestigious Africa Food Prize. Africa Food Prize 2021 was given to Ecrysat. This is a $1 lakh prize. $1 lakh was given as a part of this prize. And why Ecrysat got this prize? Ecrysat got this award for Tropical Legumes Project. And because of the Tropical Legumes Project, there are 13 countries in Sub-Saharan Africa which have improved their food security because of this Tropical Legumes Project. And another thing, Ecrysat mainly does research on which crops? So Ecrysat researches on 5 highly nutritious crops. Now all of these crops are drought tolerant. That is, these are mainly in the arid areas. That is why it is called Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropic. So it does research on these. One is chickpea, one is pigeon pea, then we have pearl millet. In Hindi we call it bajra. It is one of the types of millet. Then we have sorghum or jowar in Hindi, and then we have moongfali or groundnut. You can also call groundnut as peanut, right? So these are the 5 crops on which Ecrysat does its research, and Ecrysat is supported by United Nations also, and it is a non-for-profit, non-political organization. Let's move on. Which state of India has recently launched Rajiv Gandhi Grameen Bhumihin Krishi Mazdoor Nyaya Yojana for the landless laborer? Bhumihin means landless, Mazdoor is a laborer, Krishi Mazdoor means the agriculture laborer or someone who works in agriculture sector on the farms of other farmers, etc. And it is named after Rajiv Gandhi. So remember, this scheme was launched recently in Chhattisgarh. You can see Mr. Bhupesh Baghel photo is here on the official pictorial by the government of Chhattisgarh. So what is this scheme about? Now it's a very special scheme, and the reason I say special is because you can draw parallels of this scheme with PM Kisan. So PM Kisan is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, where the Prime Minister of India, he gives 6,000 rupees to every farmer of India. This money is credited via the direct benefit transfer in 3 tranches of 2,000 rupees each. Total every year 6,000 rupees is given as a financial support to the farmers. This is unconditional support. Now similarly, when farmers can get 6,000 rupees every year, why not the landless laborers? because their situation is equally precarious, right? They are also financially and socio-economically compromised. So that is why you can draw parallels. So here in this scheme also, the Chhattisgarh government will transfer 6,000 rupees via the direct benefit transfer in the accounts of the landless laborers, and it will benefit approximately 10 lakh landless agriculture laborers in Chhattisgarh. So this scheme is called Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Bhumihin Krishi Mazdoor Nyay Yojana. Do remember the amount, 6,000 rupees every year. Recently, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana has been extended till which year? One of the most important schemes of the Ministry of Food Processing Industry. So Kisan Sampada Yojana is a scheme of which ministry? It is a scheme of the Ministry of Food Processing Industries. And this scheme will now extend till March 2026. The total allocation is 4600 crore. And what is this scheme exactly? So this scheme aims for the overall growth and development of the food processing sector. And you know, the scheme was named as Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana in 2017. But before that, it was simply known as Sampada scheme. So when it was launched, it was Sampada. This was May 2017, and in the month of August, so 3 months later, it was called Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. Now, when it was launched, it was called Sampada. What is the full form of Sampada? Sampada stands for Scheme for Agro Marine Processing and Development of Agro Processing Clusters. So there are two objectives of the scheme. One is we should have more agriculture goods processing or agriculture crops processing. We should have marine products processing. And then the third is we should set up the agro processing clusters. And what are agro processing clusters? These are basically the mega food parks where the food processing is done. Now it is a central sector scheme. Central sector means where the 100% money is given by the central government. There is another type of scheme which is called centrally sponsored scheme. In a centrally sponsored scheme, the money is shared between the center and the state in different ratios. Is it clear? So the objective of this scheme is to have overall growth of the food processing sector. And so what do they want to do for that? They want to make mega food parks in India, number one. And how many mega food parks are operational in India at the moment? 22 mega food parks are running. Let me show you. These are the 22 mega food parks in India, and they are spread across the length and breadth of India, and they are mostly in the north and the central India. Most of the food parks, if you see, hardly there are any in the northeast, maybe one or two only. There is Zoram Mega Food Park in Mizoram. It was opened in 2021. And even the Indus Mega Food Park and Avanti Mega Food Park are relatively latest. So total 22 mega food parks are operational. What happens inside a mega food park? Food processing. Food processing is done. And what are the other things apart from mega food parks in Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana? So there is integrated cold chain and value addition infrastructure that the government will set up. There will be infrastructure also for the agro processing cluster. There will be creation of the backward and forward linkages, food safety and quality assurance infrastructure, human resource and institutions. They will also be set up if required. So these are the total objectives, components of Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. And if you want to set up any of these, for example, if you want to set up a cold chain or if you want to set up a agro processing cluster, government provides you capital subsidy. So capital subsidy is given in the form of grants or grants in aid, which ranges from 35% to 75% depending on different projects. Understood? So if you set up any of this project, government helps you with the capital subsidy. Okay, let's move on now. Recently, India has signed an agreement with United Nations World Food Programme for the distribution of wheat in which of the following countries? So we wanted to distribute wheat in Afghanistan because in Afghanistan there was a humanitarian crisis. It was bordering on more like a drought, chronic drought in Afghanistan. It was a man-made humanitarian disaster because of the invasion of Afghanistan by the Taliban. So India will send total 50,000 MT of wheat. Total 50,000 MT of wheat is what India planned, and for that they have partnered with the World Food Program. World Food Program is based in Rome. Which of the following banks has launched an annual startup program which is called Agri Infinity? Agri Infinity is a Agri FinTech Enabler program. It has been launched recently by the Yes Bank. So what do they want to do? So Agri FinTech startups, they work on financial innovation across the food and agriculture sector. And Yes Bank will support them in whatever way possible. Yes Bank wants to do digital financing of these startups. So in a way, it wants to fund those startups which are into agri financial innovative solutions. Soil Health Card Day is observed on which of the following days every year? It was celebrated in 2022 also. Soil Health Card Day is celebrated on 19th of February every year. Why on 19th of February? Because Soil Health Card scheme was started by Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi on 19th of February 2015. This scheme was launched from Suratgarh. Now Suratgarh is a place in Rajasthan. So 7 years back this scheme was started from Suratgarh in Rajasthan, Soil Health Card scheme, and therefore this is the 7th year running of this scheme. So what is Soil Health Card scheme? Remember, this scheme is run by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, and what they do is they go to the farms of the farmers. From there they pick up the soil samples, and then these soil samples are tested in the laboratory, and then there is a status given about 12 nutrients. This can be an important question. How many nutrients are analyzed in the soil health card scheme? So 12 nutrients are analyzed, and the samples are picked up after every 2 years. So there is a gap of 2 years, right? And soil health card scheme is provided to all the farmers of the country unconditionally, right? And which are these 12 nutrients? So for example, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, zinc, boron, iron, manganese, copper. Like that, there are 12 nutrients which are analyzed in the soil. Even the pH is tested. The soil pH is tested, and then the farmers are told that what is it that is lacking in the soil at your place, and therefore appropriate fertilizer you should add. A farmer, usually what they do is they go to the market and they pick up any random fertilizer and they bring it to the farms and they spray or they put it. But we should add only that fertilizer which is required. So if for example we are using NPK fertilizer, but nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus is already present in the soil, then why do we need NPK fertilizer? So farmers are told what is the appropriate fertilizer or what is the appropriate nutrient that you should add in the soil, and what are the fruits or vegetables if you are interested in horticulture, or otherwise what are the crops that you should grow based on the pH friendly, which crop is more suitable. All of these things are told to the farmers. So this is the soil health card scheme. It was started on 19th of February. Recently, Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi, he flagged off how many Kisan drones in different cities and towns of India to spray pesticides in the farms. Now usually the spraying of the pesticides in the Indian farms is done manually by the farmers, and a lot of farmers die in India because of the toxicity. So drones should be used, and different types of subsidies etc. are given because the farmers, they are not wealthy enough to buy drones. And recently there was a drone Kisan Yatra that was flagged off by Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi to promote chemical free farming in India. And this initiative was announced in the budget also of 2022. And the government has banned the import of drones to encourage their manufacturing in India. We want to become self-reliant, so we should manufacture the drones in India also. This is known as Drone Shakti Initiative. And we also have a mission called SMAM. SMAM means Submission on Agriculture Mechanization. We want to make the Indian agriculture more mechanized, and so 100 Kisan drones were recently flagged off by Pradhan Mantri Modi. And these drones, they are expected to have a high capacity like 5 to 10 kg. So in these drones there is a tank. You can fill it with pesticide, insecticide. You can even fill it with seeds depending on the requirement. So drones can also be used for distribution of seeds, especially in those areas which are difficult to reach. For example, I remember Telangana government recently started Hara Bhara initiative, where they are planting trees using drones. And with the help of drones, they are able to distribute the seeds on mountains or those areas which are difficult to reach. And if you use drones, then you can spray pesticide on 1 acre of land in just 15 minutes. So it is not only cost effective, but it requires less effort also. Moving on to the next question. It is one of the most important questions. So lavender plant has been declared as the brand product of which district in Jammu and Kashmir? So just like in Uttar Pradesh, we have one district, one product scheme. Similarly, Jammu Kashmir also has now one district, one product. And there, lavender has been made the identity of Doda district. Now, Doda district in Jammu Kashmir is the birthplace of what we are now calling the Purple Revolution. What is Purple Revolution? You can see here, this is how the lavender plants look. They are purple in color. That is why we call it Purple Revolution. And lavender cultivation is done in almost all the 20 districts of Jammu Kashmir, but more so in Doda. Now, this is known as the Aroma Mission. I will tell you in detail about this. First of all, let me tell you about lavender. Now, see, lavender is not found, see, it is not native to India. It is native to Europe. So lavender is a crop of Europe essentially, but we are growing lavender. Why? Because if farmers grow lavender, it can increase their income significantly. Lavender is an aromatic plant, lavender is a medicinal plant, and lavender oil is sold for 10,000 rupees per kg. So it's very expensive, right? And in Kashmir, very good quality of lavender is grown. So what CSIR is doing? Now CSIR stands for Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. They have a laboratory which we call the Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine, which is based in Jammu. And this laboratory is also helping CSIR in the Aroma Mission. What is Aroma Mission? The government of India, they are distributing the seeds of the lavender plant to the farmers in Jammu Kashmir free of cost, encouraging the farmers to grow lavender so that they can increase their income. This is called Aroma Mission. Now the seeds are provided by Central Institute of Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, which is located in Lucknow. Seeds are provided by Central Institute of Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, Lucknow, and there is a Jammu based laboratory, Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine. It is also helping in the Aroma Mission. So Aroma Mission is being run by Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. The mission's objective is very clear. You cultivate important medicinal and aromatic plants in India and help the agroeconomy and increase the income of the farmers. So lavender plant is the one district, one product of Doda. Lavender will be associated now with Doda. Recently, which of the following country has hosted the G7 Agriculture Ministers Meeting 2022? So it was held recently in Germany. And so basically, you don't need to remember separately G7 Agriculture Ministers Meeting. You know that the G7 summit this year took place in Schloss Elmo, which is located in the Bavarian Alps in Germany. Bavaria is a place in southeast Germany where we have Munich also, right? So G7 Agriculture Ministers meeting took place here, and they talked about inflation, they talked about Russia's invasion of Ukraine and how it is leading to a global food insecurity, because Ukraine is known as the bread basket of Europe. In Ukraine, almost 85% of the land which is fit for agriculture, there they grow grains. So it provides a lot of grains to Europe. And because the agriculture and everything is completely destroyed now by Russia, so it has led to a humanitarian disaster. Which of the following is the first state in India to introduce carbon neutral farming for better soil health? So this is an initiative that was taken in Kerala recently to introduce carbon neutral farming, and for that Kerala government will spend 6 crore rupees also. This was announced in the Kerala budget. So what is carbon neutral farming? So carbon neutral farming is a farming where you change the way you do agriculture so that there is less carbon footprint. So for example, you improve the soil health. How do you achieve carbon neutral farming? You improve the soil health. Number 2, you rotate the crops. Then you adopt the precision farming methods. You change the way soil is irrigated. You use less fertilizers, etc. and try to prevent soil degradation. Now all of these if you do, then you can achieve carbon neutral farming, and it will be implemented in all the 140 assembly constituencies in Kerala. Is it understood? So Kerala is the first state to start carbon neutral farming. And talking of soil degradation, let me tell you an important point about soil degradation. Do you remember there is something called UNCCD, United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. If you prevent the soil from degradation, you also prevent desertification. And what is India's target in this regard? India's target is to restore 26 million hectare of land by 2030. This is India's commitment, that India will not let 26 million hectare of land become a desert by 2030. India will restore 26 million hectare of land by 2030. This is India's long-term target. Recently, Niti Aayog and which of the following organization, they launched a book called Indian Agriculture Towards 2030. So this is a comprehensive book, and recently it is an initiative of the Niti Aayog along with the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. This book talks about the pathways. You can see the pathways for enhancing farmers' income, nutritional security, and sustainable food and farm systems. So this was released by Niti Aayog and FAO. Which of the following state of India has replaced West Bengal as the top vegetable producer for the year 2021-22? Now this is the very latest figure by the government of India, and I think it is very important for any agriculture exam. You should know which is the leading producer of fruits and vegetables. When we grow fruits and vegetables, we call it horticulture. We call it horticulture. Understood? And sometimes even the growing of the flowers is considered a part of horticulture. Now here you can see that in terms of fruit production, Andhra remains number 1. Andhra last year also was number 1. Maharashtra number 2 and UP number 3. Try to remember at least the first 3 positions. Okay. Andhra, for the last 6 or 7 years, Andhra is number 1. So there is no change. Andhra remains the top fruit producer in India. And then let's talk about now the vegetable production. So in vegetable production last year, West Bengal was number 1, but in the financial year 22 that ended on 31st of March 2022, UP has now leapfrogged West Bengal. So UP is now number 1, West Bengal number 2, and Madhya Pradesh is at number 3. So which is the top vegetable producer? It is not West Bengal now, it is Uttar Pradesh. And in fruit production, Andhra Pradesh is number 1. I hope this is clear. Recently, digital J forms, they were in news, which will benefit the farmers to sell their crop at MSP in the mandis. These forms are provided by which of the following state government? So this is very easy to understand. Now, in a lot of states, the farmers, they don't sell directly. They sell through the middlemen called Aadhatiyas. So the farmers, they go to Aadhatiyas, they give them their crop produce, and Aadhatiyas, they sell into the market. And then there is a form called J form. J form is now provided to the farmers, right? But since Aadhatiyas are going to sell, the market gives the J form to the Aadhatiyas. J form has all the accounts of whatever is being sold, right? So J form is like a sale receipt of a farmer's agricultural produce that is sold in the mandi or the APMCs. So, but the problem is lot of these middlemen, they keep the J forms with themselves, which does not allow the farmer to know how much of his crops have been sold, what are the price in return, etc. etc. So to prevent this, the J forms will be now digital, and they will be sent directly to the farmers by the market association on their WhatsApp, so that the middlemen are eliminated. These forms were earlier issued manually by the Aadhatiyas or commission agents, because in Punjab a majority of farmers, they sell their crops through such agents only. So but by getting the digitized J form, farmers will now have a very clear record of the crop sold and income received in exchange of their crops. So the answer is this will be implemented in Punjab. Which of the following state has launched the portal Mukhya Mantri Bagwani Bima Yojana to compensate the crop losses due to adverse weather and natural calamities? So it has been launched by the government of Haryana. You can see ML Khattar, Manohar Lal Khattar, the Chief Minister of Haryana, on the government advertisement. So what is this scheme? Now there are two categories. One is vegetables and spices, and the second category is fruits. So for fruits, the compensation will be 40,000 per acre, and for vegetables and spices, the compensation will be 30,000 per acre. So if you are growing, let's say, fruits, and all of your fruits, the crops, fruits, they get destroyed because of any natural calamity. Now natural calamity is what? It can be thunderstorms, it can be excessive rainfall, it can be lack of rainfall, or any other miscellaneous natural calamity. Then up to 40,000 per acre will be given by the government as damages, and up to 30,000 per acre if you are growing vegetables and spices. Of course, you have to pay the premium also. So premium is 5%. So if you are premium is only 5%. In case of vegetables and spices, government will charge approximately 750 per acre as the premium, right? So in this case, it is a little higher. And in case of fruits, it is 1000 rupees per acre. 1000 rupees per acre, and 750 rupees per acre is the premium that you have to pay for vegetables and spices, and 1000 per acre if you are growing fruits. This is the premium, and this scheme will cover 21 crops, 14 vegetables, 5 fruits, and 2 spices. And for that, the government of Haryana has a portal also, which is called Meri Fasal Mera Byora. Meri Fasal Mera Byora portal will implement Mukhyamantri Bagwani Bima Yojana. Let's move on now. Recently, One Health project, pilot project, was launched in which state? So One Health is a project which consists of 3 types of health: environmental health, human health, and animal health. AHE, animal health, human health, and environmental health. And the pilot project was started recently in Uttarakhand. And in Karnataka also One Health project was launched, but after Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand was the first state and Karnataka was second. So Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy, the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy. The answer is Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, which comes under the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, Fisheries and Dairy. They have launched the pilot project of One Health framework in India. Is it understood? Okay, let's move on. By the way, one question can come that we are setting up the Center for One Health where? Center for One Health. So we are setting it up in Nagpur. We are setting it up in Nagpur, the Center for One Health. How much value has the Indian agriculture exports touched for the financial year 2022? So the agriculture exports of India, they set a new record. Total was $50.2 billion. You can say approximately 50 billion. You round it up. Exact number was 50.2. And you can see that majority of our agriculture export in value was rice. So rice is 9.6 billion, and it is 9% more compared to last year, last financial year or financial year 21, because I am talking about financial year 22 here, very latest. So rice is our majorly exported commodity in terms of value. Second is marine products, $7.7 billion. Sugar was $4.6 billion. Spices 3.9. And all of these are records. So rice, this is a record, 9.6. We have never exported rice worth $9.65 billion earlier. Wheat is a record, 2.1. This is a record. Sugar and wheat are all, sugar also is a record. Wheat and rice, and even the other cereals. So all of these are records. In fact, you can see wheat export increased by 273%, right? So which is that commodity that brings that maximum foreign exchange? It is rice. $9.6 billion of rice we sold. Second is marine products, and total was 50.2. So do remember this table. This is extremely important. In fact, even the coffee exports of India hit $1 billion, which helped immensely the farmers of Karnataka and Kerala. And even the Araku Valley in Visakhapatnam in Andhra, that is where the coffee is grown. Karnataka, Kerala and Araku Valley. So coffee export of India also hit $1 billion, which was a huge surprise. And even spices, no one was expecting we will export spices worth almost $4 billion. But this is a good work done by two organizations. One is APEDA and one is MPEDA. What is the difference between APEDA and MPEDA? So APEDA is the exporting authority for agriculture products. MPEDA is the exporting authority for marine products. That is the only difference. The World Food Price Index was released by which organization? Now, World Food Price Index is released by the Food and Agriculture Organization, and it keeps a track of the food prices across the globe, right? We are going through extreme inflation in food prices because of the Russia-Ukraine war. The supply chains have disrupted, and there is a shortage of now everything. Shortage of labor, shortage of crops, shortage of seeds, shortage of fertilizers, because the entire global supply chain has been disrupted. And that is why there is a shortage of everything. The price of the crude oil is all-time high, and because of all these reasons, the inflation is touching a peak. When I say inflation, there are two types of inflation, CPI and WPI. CPI inflation is about the retail price that you pay when you go to the market. WPI inflation is the wholesale, right? For CPI inflation, goods and services both are calculated. Inflation on goods and services, but in WPI only it includes goods. Services are not included when you calculate the WPI inflation. Let's move to a very important question. So Horticulture Cluster Development Program has been started by the Government of India. Horticulture cluster. Now it's very self-explanatory. We will develop horticulture clusters in India where horticulture can be done at a large scale. And what is the advantage of having a cluster? When there is a cluster, it means there are many companies at one place, right? So let's say these are many industries at one place. Now they can use common resources, common machines, common personnel. As a result, you achieve the economies of scale, or your cost of production decreases significantly. So we will develop horticulture clusters in India, and this scheme has been started by National Horticulture Board, right? And horticulture cluster is a geographical concentration of targeted horticulture crops. So how many horticulture clusters we will set up in India? Number one question. It is 53 clusters. So in horticulture cluster development program, we are targeting 53 clusters to be set up. And how many we will set up in the first phase? In the first phase, we will set up 12 clusters. But eventually we will set up 53. We will do it in a phased manner because it is not easy. So we will initially focus on 12 clusters. Which are these 12 clusters? So let me show you the list. And these are the clusters for a specific crop. So we will have apple cluster at two places, Shopian in Jammu Kashmir and Kinnaur in Himachal. Then we will have mango cluster at three places, Lucknow in UP, Kutch in Gujarat, Mahbubnagar in Telangana. For banana, we will set up the cluster in Anantapur and Theni. Theni is in Tamil Nadu, Anantapur is in Andhra. For grapes, we will set a cluster in Nashik in Maharashtra. For pineapple, Sifajila in Tripura. Pomegranate, we will set up cluster in Sholapur in Maharashtra and Chitradurga in Karnataka. And for turmeric, we will set up a cluster in West Jaintia Hills, which is in Meghalaya. Is it clear? And on top of that, now the government has said that we will set up, a cluster in Anantapur, Kurnool and Kadapa. And all of these three places are in Andhra Pradesh. All of the three places which I told you, they are in Andhra Pradesh. So these three places will be a part of Horticulture Cluster Development Board. Is it understood? And National Horticulture Board will provide 100 crore funding. 100 crore funding, right? As its share of 40%. So 40% or 100 crore will be provided by NHB, and 60% money will be invested by the private agencies. So NHB is giving a support of 40% up to 100 crore. And in Andhra Pradesh, banana cluster is the main cluster, right? Banana. I showed you here also that you can see for banana, Anantapur cluster in Andhra is listed. But there will also be cluster for banana in Kurnool and Kadapa. So for banana, there will be three clusters from Andhra, Anantapur, Kurnool and Kadapa. All the three will be for banana. Okay, and do check out all these clusters because one of these will surely be asked in the exam. And let me tell you a little bit about horticulture because it is important to understand in a context. India is the second largest producer of horticulture crops, and India accounts for 12% of the world's production of fruits and vegetables. All the fruit and vegetable that is produced in India, 12% comes from India. And India is leading producer in the world in many horticulture, fruits and vegetable, like Amla. We are the leading producer of Amla. Amla, I think, is gooseberry. Then mango, we are number one. Banana, we are number one. Even pomegranate, we are number one. So we are number one in the world in lot of fruits and vegetables. Let's move on. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, it has given its approval for the supply of fortified rice through various government schemes by which year? Now another aspect of food security. So there is something called as hidden hunger. Now sometimes what happen is that we are consuming the food, but we are not taking appropriate nutrition. So hidden hunger is a form of undernutrition that occurs when intake and absorption of vitamins and minerals is low. So for example, you are eating food in good quantity, but it lacks in vitamins and minerals. That is called hidden hunger. For that we use the word hidden hunger. Now a lot of food in India is based on rice and wheat, but there are certain problems, right? A lot of things are absent in rice and wheat. So one way by which we can address the undernutrition in India is we add those things in rice which it doesn't have naturally. So this is called food fortification. And food fortification in India is being done for rice now, but later it will be for other crops also. Now rice fortification, this rice that has been fortified will be distributed as a part of different schemes like Targeted Public Distribution Scheme, National Food Security Act. So Targeted Public Distribution Scheme is a part of National Food Security Act, Integrated Child Development Services, Pradhan Mantri Poshan Yojana, and other welfare schemes. So whatever the rice that will be distributed in these schemes will be the fortified rice, and it will be done in three phases. First phase, phase number 1, we will cover Integrated Child Development Services and PM Poshan. So this will be done by March 2022. Second phase, we will target TPDS, that is Targeted Public Distribution System under National Food Security Act, and we will target other welfare scheme. There are approximately 291 districts. We will target TPDS and OWS in only the aspirational and high burden districts, which are approximately 291 in India. This will be done by March 2023. Then we will go to the third phase. In third phase, we will distribute the fortified rice in the remaining districts of India. In the second phase, we did in 291 districts which are aspirational or high burden. And the remainder of districts in India, we will distribute by March 2024. So this is phase 3. So rice fortification in India will be done in 3 phases. Is it clear? And the entire cost of rice fortification will be around 2700 crore per annum. And by what time rice fortification will be complete in India? Rice fortification will be implemented by June 2024 in the entire India. This needs to be done. This is a target of the government of India, that we will distribute the fortified rice. And I told you different deadlines. March 2022 phase 1 ICDS PM Poshan, then phase 2 291 districts TPDS and OWS in aspirational and high burden district by March 2023, and phase 3 all the remaining districts of India by March 2024. So it will be done roughly by June 2024. Government has set a concrete deadline for the same. Now the next thing is, what is this rice, fortified rice? So according to the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, if you take 1 kg of fortified rice, then it will have these following things. It will have iron around 28 milligram to 42.5 milligram. It will have folic acid approximately 75 to 125 microgram, and it will have vitamin B12 approximately 0.75 to 1.25 microgram. So what are the 3 things that will be added in fortified rice in India? So iron will be added, folic acid will be added, and vitamin B12 will also be added. In addition, sometimes zinc can also be added, or other types of vitamin B can also be added. This is fortified rice. So what is the deadline? Deadline is 2024. Understood now? Let's move on. Which of the following product from Kangra of Himachal will soon get a European Commission geographical indication tag? Lot of products in India have got the GI tag. From Himachal also we have lot of products which have got GI tag like Chamba Rumal and all of these things. But insofar as agriculture is concerned, it is the Kangra tea. It has now got a European Commission geographical indication tag. It will help Kangra tea to get an opportunity to enter the European markets. And Kangra tea has also got the Indian GI tag. It got it in 2005. A GI tag is what? GI tag is given when it is a surety that a particular taste or fragrance or quality of a product is because it is coming from a particular area. Then GI tag is given. And there is a logo also of GI tag. So Kangra tea is grown in the Kangra district of Himachal. It is known for its unique taste and flavor and smell. And it has a lot of antioxidants also, which are helpful for our health. The central government, they are setting up India's first seaweed park in which state? India's first seaweed park will be set up in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, and why it will be set up? What purpose it will do? So basically, seaweed is a common name to the marine plants and algae that grow in the ocean as well as the rivers. And seaweeds, they are helpful for feeding the marine animals. Understood? Seaweed actually is a misnomer. You might think that seaweed is a type of weed. No, seaweed is a small plants that grow inside water bodies. They are seaweeds. So in fact, seaweeds can be very large in size also. They grow into abundant forest and they are very helpful as a food for the marine animals. So in a way, this seaweed park will have the processing of the seaweeds. It will be inside a special economic zone in Tamil Nadu. Recently, who among the following has been appointed as the new chairman of the Indian Pulses and Grains Association? Grains, you already know. Pulses is what we call dal, in colloquial language. And there is an association called India Pulses and Grains Association. And what is this? What is this association? So this association is basically the apex body for pulses and grains trade and industry in India. And there are more than 10,000 stakeholders which are a part of this association. So the new chairman of Pulses and Grain Association will be Mr. Bimal Kothari. Bimal Kothari. And which is the largest pulses producing state of India? Any idea about it? Actually, for this you have to refer to the economic survey. The latest economic survey, and economic survey is always of the previous year. So the economic survey that was in 2022 is actually of financial year 21. So I have taken the screenshot from the economic survey. This is the very latest economic survey, and you can see the top producer of everything from economic survey, because I think that is something that you should trust, over and above the government reports. So economic survey is something that you have to quote in the exam. Now you can see for rice, the leading producer was West Bengal, and just remember the leading producer. You don't have to remember rank 2, 3, 4. Just remember leading producer. If you can remember the leading producer, it is good enough. For wheat, it is UP. For maize, it is Karnataka. For total nutri or core cereals, it is Rajasthan. Tur dal is Maharashtra. Gram is Madhya Pradesh. Total pulses Madhya Pradesh. So if you have to know which is the top pulses producer in India, the answer will be Madhya Pradesh, according to the economic survey. Second is Rajasthan, third is Maharashtra. Total food grains in India, total food grains. So total food grains is UP. Total food grains is UP. Total pulses is Madhya Pradesh. Clear? Rice is West Bengal and wheat is UP. Let's take a look at some more. Let's take a look at the oil seeds. Okay. Groundnut is Gujarat by far. Gujarat is the leading producer of groundnut. Rapeseed and mustard is Rajasthan. Soya bean is Maharashtra. Sunflower is Karnataka. So total oil seeds is Rajasthan. Okay. Total. If you take all the oil seeds together, then the answer would be Rajasthan. but if you take individually, then you have to mark accordingly. Sugarcane is UP, cotton is Maharashtra, jute and mesta is West Bengal. So all of these are according to the economic survey. Is it clear? Recently, which of the following state government has decided to use an ancient broadcasting technique of direct seeding of rice to grow rice? Direct seeding of rice, lot of states in India are doing it, and recently it was announced by Punjab state that they will use direct seeding of rice. Punjab government has decided to bring an area of 1.2 million hectare under direct seeding of rice. Understood? And 1.2 million hectare is their target. Right now it is approximately 0.6 million hectare. Now direct seeding of rice is becoming very popular in Punjab and Haryana because it is not labor intensive, number one, and there is a shortage of labor after COVID. Also, what happens in direct seeding of rice, how it is different? In direct seeding of rice, we use pre-germinated seeds. They are directly drilled into the field by a tractor powered machine, and there is no nursery preparation or transplantation required, right? Also, the water that is required is much less, 35% less water is required according to Punjab Agriculture University. And earlier we used transplanting. In transplanting, the farmers, they used to prepare nurseries where the paddy seeds were sown and raised into young plants, and then these young plants were uprooted and replanted after almost a month into the main field. But now we are planting the pre-germinated seeds directly into the field, and we are not using a nursery. Is it understood? And water is saved because the first irrigation under DSR is necessary only 21 days after sowing. So approximately 35% less water is consumed, and there is less requirement of labor. Also, the methane emission is much less. Soil is less disturbed in this technique, and there is more productivity. Understood? And what is the disadvantage of direct seeding of rice? So disadvantage is herbicides or weed. Weeds are a big problem in DSR technique. And then land leveling is compulsory. So land has to be leveled in this technique. And DSR method is not suitable for every types of soil. There are some types of soil where DSR method is not useful. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, they have launched a campaign called Kisan Bhagidari Prathmikta Hamari. Kisan Bhagidari Prathmikta Hamari, which means Kisan Bhagidari means participation of farmers. Prathmikta Hamari means it is our priority. To spread awareness about which scheme? So this is to spread awareness about PM Fasal Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So this was a 7-day campaign from 25th of April to 30th of April 2022, and there was awareness about Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Recently, which of the following institution has announced to formulate a farmer distress index? Farmer distress index will be made by NABARD. It's very, very important. What is farmer distress index? See, all the farmers in India, they are not under the same stress. Some farmers are more miserable, some are less miserable, some are good, well off, happy. So every farmer is different. But the problem is, if you make any distress package, then the package is same for all the farmers, which should not be there, right? So NABARD will start a farmer distress index where it will try to identify the which farmers are into very high distress, which farmers are into less distress, and all of these category. And accordingly, distress packages can be made by the government of India. So it will help in proper allocation of the resources of the government of India, because not every farmer requires the same kind of help, same kind of subsidy. Understood? Right now there is an umbrella package for all the farmers. So that should not be done. So it will be made by NABARD. Which of the following state has inaugurated India's first greenfield grain-based ethanol plant? We are making all these ethanol plant because we want a lot of ethanol in India. Ethanol is C2H5OH. Why do we want so much ethanol? Because we want to mix it in petrol. How much mixing? So we have already achieved 10% ethanol mixing. This we achieved well before the target. So 10% ethanol mixing we have already done in India. We have already achieved the target. and 20% we want to do by 2025. Earlier the target was 2030. It was preponed to 2025. So it was set up recently in Bihar. It was set up in Bihar by Eastern India Biofuels Private Limited. Eastern India Biofuels Private Limited. Now, let me ask you, what is the advantage of mixing ethanol in crude oil or petrol? Why do we want to mix ethanol in petrol, and that also 20%? What is the meaning of 20% mixing? It means if you are using 1 liter of petrol in your car, out of that 800 ml should be petrol and remaining 200 ml should be ethanol. Then the ratio is 20%. Understood? What is the meaning of 20%? 20% ethanol means in 20% the remaining 80% will be petrol. Now what is the advantage? So there are lot of advantages. Number one, ethanol is produced from various natural sources like maize, wheat, rice, etc. And therefore farmers will have more income because farmers' crops will be used to produce ethanol. Ethanol is produced domestically. That is the first advantage. Second advantage is that petrol is not a clean fuel. You know that there is a lot of smoke that goes into the atmosphere by our cars every day, right? Petrol is not a clean fuel, but ethanol is a clean fuel. It leaves no residue also. So that is why it is good for our country becoming net neutral, carbon neutral. And the third advantage is that we completely depend on the import of petrol from countries like Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and all of these countries. It increases our import bill. Therefore, it puts us into current account deficit. Our current account deficit will decrease if we buy less petrol. So these are some advantages of using ethanol in petrol. Recently, Agricultural and Processed Food Product Export Development Authority (APEDA) launched a variety of millet products for all age groups at the Ahar Food Fair. It was organized in which city? What is so special about these millets? So they are for lot of other age groups, right? So it was launched at the Ahar festival. It was organized in Delhi recently. And what was the theme? The theme was to promote GI products for export. This was the theme of the Ahar festival. Understood? And there were different kinds of millets. Like for example, a lot of people are intolerant to some types of millets. So for them, different types of millets were launched. Gluten-free, I'll give you an example. Gluten-free millets were recently launched. Gluten-free because some people are intolerant to gluten, which is present in millet. So like that, different types of millets which cater to all the age groups were launched recently. And 2023 is the UN Year of Millets, International Year of Millets. Global Report on Food Crisis was launched by which of the following organization recently? Global Report on Food Crisis was released by Global Network Against Food Crisis, or GNFAC. Global Network Against Food Crisis. And what does this report say? It talks about people who are suffering from acute food insecurity, like people in Ethiopia, Madagascar, South Sudan, Yemen. They are suffering from lot of food insecurity. Extreme weather has also forced a lot of people into food insecurity. Conflict, economic shocks, they are also responsible for putting the people into misery. And this report is also supported by FSIN. What is FSIN? So FSIN is a global initiative which is co-sponsored by FAO and World Food Programme and also International Food Policy Research Institute. So 3 organizations have started FSIN. So Global Network Against Food Crisis and FSIN, they both have released this important report. Who among the following has been awarded the World Food Prize? World Food Prize is given to a scientist from NASA called Dr. Cynthia Rosenzweig of the United States of America for her research to understand the relationship between climate and food. So, and you know, in 2020, one Indian, Dr. Ratan Lal, he was given this award in 2020. But for 2022, it is given to Cynthia Rosenzweig. And World Food Prize is one of the most important international awards it recognizes the achievements of individuals who have advanced human development by improving the availability, quantity or quality of the food. So there is a cash award of $250,000 and there is a global recognition. And this award is presented during the World Food Day, which is celebrated on 16th of October. 16th of October. And it is given by the World Food Prize Foundation, which is based in America. Now, who started this award? This award was started by Dr. Norman Borlaug. He is known as the father of the Green Revolution globally. So World Food Prize was created in 1986. 1986. Sometimes it is also known as the Nobel Prize for Food and Agriculture. And who was the first recipient of this prize in 1987? It was M.S. Swaminathan, the father of the Green Revolution in India. He was the winner of the World Food Prize in the first edition in 1987. Which of the following organization has released Global Food Policy Report, Climate Change and Food Systems? Global Food Policy Report, Climate Change and Food System is released recently by International Food Policy Research Institute. International Food Policy Research Institute. And this gives certain warning to India. What warning is given to India? It says that India's food production can drop 16% and the number of people who are at risk of hunger can increase by 23% by 2030 because of the climate change. Another thing that this report says is that the number of Indians who are at risk from hunger, their number by 2030 will be 73.9 million. And if you take into account the climate change, then the number will be even higher. It will be 90.6 million. 90.6 million people in India will be at a risk from hunger if you take into account the climate change. But even without a severe climate change, the number will still be 73.9 million. Right? But this report says something positive also, that the climate change will not affect the average calorie consumption of Indians, which is roughly 2600 kilocalorie per person per day. 2600 kilocalorie per person per day is the average calorie consumption in India. Is it clear? So this is what this report says. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, they have signed a MOU with which organization for technical assistance to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and Kisan Credit Card. So which organization will provide technological assistance to these two schemes? Remember, technical assistance will be provided to these by United Nations Development Program, UNDP, which is headquartered in New York. And from Kisan Credit Card, you can take a loan up to 3 lakh rupees. And out of the 3 lakh, 1.6 lakh, up to 1.6 lakh is collateral free loan. And a lot of farmers in India, they take loan through KCC. Recently, under whose chairmanship, the government has announced the formation of the Cotton Council of India. Cotton Council of India, remember, its chairman will be Suresh Bhai Kotak. Cotton Council of India is a new organization in India, and it has been set up under the Ministry of Textile. So the decision to set up Cotton Council of India was taken recently, and it will, address the main problem of India, which is declining cotton productivity. Cotton, of course, is a kharif crop in India, and it is very important insofar as India's overall sector is concerned, because India is the second largest producer of cotton in the world after China. And we also have a Cotton Corporation of India, which was set up in 1970 under the Ministry of Textiles. International Tea Day was observed on which day? Tea again is very important for our exports. Tea is a beverage. Tea is not a plant, tea is a beverage which is made from a plant called Camellia sinensis. So Camellia sinensis is the name of the plant, tea plant, and it is the world's most consumed drink after water. So in India, Assam is the leading producer of tea, and if you talk about districts, then Darjeeling district is the leading producer of tea, but Darjeeling is in West Bengal, not in Assam. So the first tea day was observed in 2008. 2020. So it is not a very old day. We celebrate it on 21st of May. 21st of May. It was only the third tea day that we celebrated. Recently, which of the following cities hosted the third Global Organic Expo 2022? The third Global Organic Expo was hosted at Indian Agriculture Research Institute, PUSA, which is in New Delhi. The answer is Delhi. And what was the theme? The theme was profitability for humanity. Profitability for humanity was the theme. And there were talks about organic, like how we can promote organic agriculture in India. And by the way, who was the guest of honor? Guest of honor was former Chief Minister of Sikkim, Pawan Chamling, because it was during his tenure that Sikkim became the first organic state of India, right? On 24th of February 2003. It was on 24th of February 2003 that Sikkim became an organic farming state. Pawan Chamling, his government passed a resolution in 2003 that we will make Sikkim an organic state, and they achieved it in 2016. On 18th of January 2016, Sikkim became the first 100% organic state of India. Recently, which of the following institution has partnered with S Farms India, and together they have launched Farm Land Price Index? Farm Land Price Index has been launched by S Farms India. What is S Farms India? S Farms India is a e-marketplace for agriculture land. It is a e-marketplace for agriculture land. So if you want to buy agriculture land or if you want to sell agriculture land, then open the website of S Farms India. They have partnered with IIM Ahmedabad to launch Farm Land Price Index. So there is no mechanism in India which keeps a track of the agriculture farmland prices, whether they are going down or whether they are going up. So will they together keep a tab or keep a tracking mechanism for farmland prices index of the entire country? No. They will launch it initially for Andhra, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Telangana and UP. So they are starting initially from these 6 important states, and then they will move on to other places also. And they will target mainly the rural and the semi-urban areas, because these are the areas where the farmland is mostly available. Every year, 7th of June is celebrated as World Food Safety Day. So what was the theme for 2022? World Food Safety Day, remember the theme is Safer Food, Better Health. Safer Food, Better Health. Is it clear? And this day is celebrated globally by the World Health Organization. World Health Organization. And remember, this day was established in 2018. And in India, we have an organization that you know very well, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, the job of which is to ensure food safety in India. We also have a food safety index that I will talk about just now. So recently, the 4th edition of Food Safety Index was released. Now you have to tell me which state has topped this index. Which state is the best in India in terms of food safety? So Tamil Nadu topped this index. Last year it was Gujarat, but this year it is Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is number 1, Gujarat is number 2, and Maharashtra is number 3. This is the state food safety index. Is that clear? And the first food safety index was declared on the World Food Safety Day on 7th of June 2019. And this is the 4th edition of the index. What about the small states? So we have another category called the small states. In that, Goa was number 1, and among the union territories it was Jammu and Kashmir which performed the best. Which of the following country was the largest importer of Indian broken rice in the year 2022? That is the financial year 22. So China was the largest importer of the broken rice from India. Is it clear? And India's total export was 212 lakh metric ton, and out of that 7.7% China imported, which is approximately 16.34 lakh metric ton. So according to the analysis done by different trade experts, 96% of the rice that India exported to China was broken rice. Is it understood? And this figure which I am giving you, 212, it is the total basmati and non-basmati rice that India exported. Now we also saw recently that out of the $50.2 billion worth of agriculture export, $9.65 billion was rice, the highest. You can see that this will be approximately 20%. Almost 20% of our agriculture export was rice. This much rice we exported in the financial year 22. And if you want to know how much rice we exported in terms of MT or million ton, then it is 212 lakh metric ton. Here we are expressing it as LMT or lakh metric ton. Amaranthus was in news recently in Karnataka. It is a type of what? So remember, Amaranthus is a leafy vegetable. It is a variety of leafy vegetable that was in news recently. Actually, Karnataka government is trying to popularize Amaranthus because Karnataka government is promoting mixed cropping. So in that they are trying to popularize Amaranthus. Now Amaranthus is highly nutritious and it is consumed in a limited quantity and still it is highly nutritious. It has a lot of economic benefits also, and farmers can have multiple harvest of Amaranthus in a season. So Amaranthus refers to a wide variety of leafy vegetables which are consumed in a limited manner in Karnataka. And if you grow Amaranthus, then the soil fertility will also be enhanced. There will be nitrogen fixation also, and it is very useful in mixed cropping. So that is why it was in news recently. Recently, a co-lending agreement to the farmers for purchase of a tractor and farm implements was done. Co-lending agreement was done between Adani Capital and which bank? So it was done between Adani and the State Bank of India. This is a co-lending agreement. Co-lending model aims to give the borrower the best interest rates, and co-lending essentially means that if a loan is to be taken, it will be given by both Adani Capital and State Bank of India. Is it clear? Let's move on. Who among the following has been selected for the Dr. M.S. Swaminathan Award for the period 2017 to 2019? Now, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan Award was started in 2004 to honor Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, the father of India's Green Revolution. And this award is a lifetime achievement award for outstanding contribution to the field of agriculture or agriculture research. And if somebody does work for food security or sustainable agriculture, and this award can be given to any person whether of India or abroad. So it is not restricted to Indians only. And this award was given recently to Mr. V. Praveen Rao. Now who is V. Praveen Rao? By the way, this was the 7th M.S. Swaminathan award that was given for this year. So this award actually is a biennial award, right? Every 2 years it is awarded, and this time it was given to V. Praveen Rao. So V. Praveen Rao, who is he? So he is the Vice Chancellor and Professor at Jai Shankar Telangana State Agriculture University. Telangana State Agriculture University, he is the Vice Chancellor of that university. Understood? So this award was given to V. Praveen Rao. World Soil Day is observed every year on which day? Indian Council of Agriculture Research, they have a organization which works under their aegis, which is called Central Coastal Agriculture Research Institute. So World Soil Day was celebrated by CCARI on 5th of December 2021. Now, this day was recommended by the International Union of Soil Sciences in 2002. 2002 is when World Soil Day started. And the first World Soil Day by United Nations was celebrated on 5th of December 2014. Why 5th of December was chosen? Because it is the official birthday of King Bhumibol. King Bhumibol. King Bhumibol is the former king of Thailand. He officially sanctioned this event. King Bhumibol World Soil Day Award is also given on this day. King Bhumi Bol World Soil Day Award. And on this day, one more award is given, which is Glinka World Soil Day Award. So Glinka World Soil Day Award, and then we also have King Bhumi Bol World Soil Day Award. Both are given on this day. Which of the following fruit and vegetable markets in India has become the first market to be certified as clean and fresh fruit and vegetable market by Food Safety and Standard Authority of India in December 2021? So remember, recently it was declared that the INA market in Delhi, Indian National Airways market in Delhi, is the first market in India to be declared clean and fresh fruit and vegetable market by FSSAI. What is the purpose of giving this certificate, clean and fresh? Basically, it promotes the availability of safe and hygienic fruits and vegetable to the consumer. So auditing is done, a pre-audit is done of the entire market. All the food business operators, all the shops are checked, complete auditing is done, and only then the certificate is given. FSSAI also gives a certificate to the temples called Bhog certificate. If a temple gets Bhog certificate, it means the prasadam or the prasad that you get from the temple is hygienic and safe. Is it clear? So this is the market, INA market in Delhi. National Farmers Day or Kisan Divas was celebrated recently on which day? Kisan Divas is celebrated on 23rd of December. And on 23rd of December, why? Because it is the birth anniversary of Chaudhry Charan Singh. Chaudhry Charan Singh, after whom we have the Lucknow airport named. Lucknow airport is called Chaudhry Charan Singh Airport, and he is the former Prime Minister of India and a stalwart Kisan leader. He was born in Meerut in UP and is a very, very important person insofar as the agriculture in India is concerned. Let's move on. What is the total food grain production target for the financial year 23, which was recently announced by the central government? So recently there was a national conference on agriculture for Kharif campaign, right? And it was inaugurated by Narendra Singh Tomar, who is the Agriculture Minister of India. During that event, the government announced that our food grain production target is 328 million tons for the financial year 23. Understood? And out of this 328, the Kharif food grain target is 163.15 million ton. And what about the Rabi? So Rabi food grain production target is 164.85 million ton. I repeat once more, total food grain production target 328 million ton. Out of that, Kharif is 163.15 and Rabi is 164.85. Is that clear? And the total food production in India has increased by 25% in the last 6 years. Right? It has increased by 25% in the last 6 years. So what was the official food grain production in India in the financial year 22? So according to the second advance estimates, the total food grain production in the financial year 22 was how much? 316 million ton. And for financial year 23, the target is 328 million ton. Is that clear? Let's move on now. Which of the following is the first state in India to launch Crop Diversification Index? Now we want to promote crop diversification. One good way of promoting crop diversification is you create a sort of a competition between the different districts, right? And then every district will try to outdo each other and they will promote crop diversification because they want to top the index. That is the entire purpose of the index, that you try to do your best so that you can rank higher. So this has been launched by the government of Telangana. So crop diversification index, it has a base value of 1, which represents the percentage of total cultivated area devoted to a single crop. If the index value is higher, it means the crops are well diversified, more diversified, right? So in this index, which district topped? It was the Nirmal district. You can see Nirmal district had a highest score of 0.8 and Telangana has started this index recently. Which of the following days is celebrated as the World Pulses Day every year? And what was the theme for this year? So the theme was Pulses to Empower Youth in Achieving Sustainable Agri-Food Systems. This was the theme. Pulses to Empower Youth in Achieving Sustainable Agri-Food Systems. And the first World Pulses Day was celebrated in 2019 on 10th of February. It is celebrated on 10th of February. Is that clear? Let's move on. And by the way, one more thing I will add here since we are talking of pulses. So in 2016 was declared by United Nations General Assembly as the International Year of Pulses. 2016 was the International Year of Pulses. Recently, the central government has set a target to replace diesel with renewable energy in agricultural sector by which year? We should completely remove diesel from the agriculture sector and replace it with renewable sources. Diesel is used in tractors, in machines, in generators. So a lot of uses of diesel is there. And the government of India is running a scheme called Kusum scheme, where we are encouraging the farmers to have solar run irrigation systems. We want to solarize the agriculture pumps. That is called Kusum scheme. So this will be achieved by 2024. Complete elimination of diesel with renewable energy in the agriculture sector. The government has set a target of 2024. And this PM Kusum scheme was launched by Pradhan Mantri Modi, and the first farm-based solar power plant under the PM Kusum scheme came up in Jaipur in Rajasthan, in Kotputli Tehsil, right? And the first PM Kusum solar pump was, solar power plant was installed in Kotputli in Jaipur in Rajasthan. PM Kusum stands for what? Prime Minister's Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthan Mahabhiyan. Now this scheme is run by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So let's move on now. Recently, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development NABARD has launched the Jiva program to promote natural farming in how many states? Jiva program is an agroecology based program, and it brings together different projects under the watershed program of NABARD, and it will be implemented in 11 states of India. These 11 states are those which are ecologically fragile, right, and which have sufficient rain-fed areas. So that is the Jiva program. It will promote natural farming in 11 states under its existing watershed program in the 11 states of India. Which of the following Indian cities have been recognized as the 2021 Tree City of the World? Tree City of the World. So if you remember, then Hyderabad was declared as the Tree City of the World last year, and Mumbai has also been recognized. So Mumbai and Hyderabad are the two tree cities of the world. And Hyderabad planted more than 3.5 crore trees in just 500 volunteer hours, and Mumbai planted 4,25,000 trees in 25,000 volunteer hours. So both of these are now the tree cities of the world. Which is the country with the maximum tree cities? It is the US. US has 37 tree cities. So Tree City initiative has been started by Food and Agriculture Organization in partnership with a non-profit organization called Arbor Day Foundation. Arbor Day Foundation. Recently, Nectar, Northeast Center for Technology Application and Research and Reach, it is located in Shillong. It has started Saffron Bowl project for promoting saffron cultivation in which northeastern state? So this project has been started with a cost of 17.68 lakh rupees in two states, Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya. Nectar is an autonomous body under the Department of Science and Technology, which works under the Ministry of Science and Technology, and it is exploring the feasibility of growing saffron in the northeastern region. Saffron is grown in Kashmir mostly, but there are some states of northeast which have very similar climate, etc. So it can be grown in Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh also. Let's move on. And if I ask you which is the part of the saffron plant that you eat, so it is dried stigma. It is dried stigma that you actually eat. Which of the following is the top sugar producer state in India? I am not saying sugar cane, I am saying sugar producer state for the financial year 22. So maximum sugar was produced by Maharashtra. Maharashtra is the top sugar producing state in India after 5 years. For last 5 years in a row it was UP. So UP this time is at number 2 position, right? So the total sugar production of Maharashtra was 138 lakh ton in the financial year 22, and UP produced 105 lakh ton of sugar in the financial year 22. So what is the reason that there was such a huge production of sugar in Maharashtra? First of all, sugar cane from which sugar is produced is a very water intensive crop, and in Maharashtra there is a big network of water reservoir, network of canal. There is abundant of rain because Maharashtra is on the western coast of India, and therefore the southwest monsoon hits Maharashtra and there is a lot of rain. Now in Maharashtra, the groundwater aquifer, they were also charged because of so much rainfall, and there was no shortage of rainfall. Maharashtra has been receiving sufficient rainfall since 2019 because of the southwest monsoon. And what was the reason for decline of sugar production in UP? So UP, lot of farmers, they are producing now ethanol instead of sugar from sugarcane. They are not producing sugar but rather ethanol, which is more profitable. Uttar Pradesh has become the largest ethanol producer in India because of this reason. Because from sugarcane the farmers are producing ethanol instead of sugar. And Uttar Pradesh also achieved the highest blending of ethanol in petrol because of this very reason. But there is therefore a decrease in the sugar production. Another reason was there is a disease called red rot fungal disease. So red rot fungal disease of sugarcane was also a reason that because of this there was a decline in the sugarcane production. There is a variety of sugarcane called CO0238. CO0238. This variety is highly susceptible to the red rot fungal disease. Recently, the central government has approved the extension of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana till 2026. This scheme was launched in which year? So this scheme will continue to run till 2026. It was launched in 2015. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, and the total money that the government will spend is 93,068 crore. 93068 crore. And what is this scheme about? So basically in this scheme there are three components. There is AIPB component. AIPB is Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program. There is HKKP or Har Khet Ko Pani, Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program, Har Khet Ko Pani, HKKP, and there is also watershed development in this, right? So what is AIPB? AIBP is it was launched in 1996 with the aim of accelerating and implementation of irrigation projects that exceed the resource capabilities of the states. Then we have HKKP Har Khet Ko Pani. It aims to create new water sources through minor irrigation, repair, restoration and renovation of the water bodies. Is it understood? And watershed development, it is the effective management of the soil and moisture conservation activity areas like a ridge area treatment, etc. So these three things mostly we do together, and this is what we call the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Which of the following has secured the first rank in the ICAR ranking of agriculture colleges 2020? So ICAR's education department, on the occasion of Agriculture Education Day was celebrated on 3rd of December. It released the ranking of the agriculture universities for 2020, and National Dairy Research Institute in Karnal is the #1 agriculture college in India. Understood? So National Dairy Research Institute in Karnal was #1, and ICAR, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, Pusa, New Delhi is #2, and Indian Veterinary Research Institute, Izzat Nagar, Bareilly is #3. So this was #3 and this was at second position. First was National Dairy Research Institute, NDRI, which is in Karnal. Is it understood? So on what parameters the colleges were adjudged? teaching, resources and outcome, research impact, and all of this. Recently, which of the following has launched the Banarsi Pashmina? Now, Pashmina you will hear mostly from Ladakh or Jammu Kashmir. Pashmina is basically a wool that is obtained from Pashmina goat, right? But now we have also started Pashmina from Varanasi, and it is KVIC, Khadi and Village Industries Commission. They launched Banarasi Pashmina from Varanasi also. And Pashmina basically is a goat. It's a Changthangi goat of Ladakh, mainly in the Changthang plateau of Ladakh. Amazon Retail India has launched its first mango collection center in which state? First mango collection center was started in Ratnagiri in Maharashtra. The answer is Maharashtra. And this collection center will assure farmers of fast payment. So if you want to sell mangoes to Amazon, simply go to their mango collection center, get instant money in lieu of the mangoes. And this Ratnagiri area is very famous for the Alfonso mangoes. Alfonso mangoes. Recently, 6th anniversary of the National Agriculture Market was observed. It is implemented by which of the following organizations? So ENAM celebrated its 6th anniversary. ENAM was launched on 14th of April 2016. 14th of April is the birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and it was launched by Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi. It is a online trade. It is for online trading of agriculture commodities. So answer is SFAC. It is implemented by SFAC. What is SFAC? So SFAC is basically Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium. It is implementing ENAM in India. And of course, now we have launched another platform called ENAM, Platform of Platforms. Recently, India's first Khadi Center of Excellence was opened in which city? India's first Khadi Center of Excellence. Remember, it was opened recently in New Delhi by KVIC. And this Center of Excellence is for experimentation, innovation and design in the Khadi industry. It was opened recently in Delhi. Union Minister Piyush Goyal, he inaugurated a mango festival in which European country to promote the mango export. Mango festival was recently inaugurated in Brussels, which is the capital of Belgium. The answer is Belgium. India is a big supplier of mangoes to the rest of the globe, but most of the mangoes end up in the Middle East rather than Europe. So now we are trying to export more and more directly to the Europe. And there are different types of mangoes in India. Now this is a very interesting photo courtesy India in pixels that I'm showing you. You can see different types of mangoes. Although it is not an exhaustive list, these are barely 12 varieties, but there are hundreds of varieties of mangoes from India. So Alfonso mango from Maharashtra, Totapuri from Karnataka, Banganapalle from Andhra, Dasheri from UP, Ambika from UP, Langda from UP, Kesar from Gujarat, Himsagar from West Bengal. Then Malgova. Malgova mango is there in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Vanraj mango from Gujarat, Swarna Rekha from Andhra and Odisha, and we also have Chausa, mainly from Himachal but also from Bihar. So these are some famous types of mangoes from India. Recently, which of the following states has launched the Fruits software and portal? Fruits is the Farmer Registration and Unified Beneficiary Information System. So it was launched recently by the government of Karnataka. So Fruit software will facilitate single registration using an Aadhaar card, and there will also be land records digitization. So Karnataka's Bhumi digitized land record system will also be used for authentication, and through this platform farmers can get different types of benefits of the different schemes launched by the government, like PM Kisan or minimum support price. They will get through direct benefit transfer. Which of the following state has launched a scheme called Yantra Seva for the distribution of tractors and combine harvesters for the farmers? So this scheme has been launched by the government of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy, he launched this scheme, and it was launched in Guntur in Andhra Pradesh. Guntur is also called the Tobacco City of India, and it is also the headquarters of the Tobacco Board. Now what they have done is they have made around 3800 tractors and 320 combined harvesters available at the Raitu Bharosa Center. Raitu means farmer. So Raitu Bharosa centers across Andhra Pradesh. If a farmer cannot buy a tractor or a combine harvester, he can simply take it on a rent. That is the purpose of Yantra Seva scheme. Yantra is the tools or the paraphernalia that you required. It is the farm machinery that you required. So farmers will be able to they will be able to rent this machinery at very affordable prices. It will reduce their agriculture input cost. So that was the video for complete agriculture current affairs of 2022, and I'll see you very soon in other videos. Thank you for watching this video.